Hello everybody, welcome to today's wonderful stream. Also welcome if you're watching this as the replay. Yay, replay crowd, hello. As always, if you are here live, please sound off in the chat so I can say hello. And if you are watching the replay, let me know in the comments down below. I see Leah here, hello. And I also see Sharon, thank you for joining us. And I will keep an eye out for anybody else in the chat as they come in. I'm also keeping an eye on my downloads folder right now because, as you can probably tell from the title, we are going to be designing some full boxes for a sticker kit today. And you guys are going to be voting on which kit/theme we do. And one of the sets of graphics that I have to vote on I have licensed, but I forgot to download it. So I am hoping that it will download. What makes it even more complicated is that it was part of a big bundle, and the bundle is in 13 parts, and I don't know which part the one I want is in. So as they download, I will be opening them up. Leah, unfortunately, none of the options are llamas. For the most part, I wanted to keep things kind of autumnal themed. But then I saw a really fun one that might end up coming up later, which is the one I'm trying to download right now. Not directly autumnal, but still a lot of fun. Basically, just so you guys know, the kit that I'm going to be designing today is going to be going out in my August sticker subscription box. If you are interested in that, checking that out, there is a link down below, and then this will also eventually be on my Etsy shop as well. Maybe in the future, I should actually plan ahead and do pre-orders, maybe at a discount for anybody who gets the link off of something like this, but as of right now, I don't have that all together. So, come on, it has like so little to download left. Also, I want to say hi to Sarah and Sharon. Oh, I already said hi to Sharon. Hello, Sarah. Thank you for being here live. I think I got everybody who has posted so far. Okay, I'm going to give this like maybe not 3 more seconds. I'm going to give it a little bit longer. Actually, here's what I can do. I can pull it up in from the website that I licensed it from. And if you guys really like it, then we can spend a little bit of time trying to get it downloaded. And if it doesn't win the vote, then I don't have to worry about it. Of course, between downloading and streaming, my internet is running a little slow. This was one of those things that was just so fun that I could not resist. And of course, while I'm trying to pull this up, here, I'll actually put it on my lower screen so I can see the chat. Yes, in case you aren't aware, I will just ramble a little bit about what's going on here. I do have an Etsy sticker shop, as I mentioned, as well as a sticker subscription. I design stickers. It's a lot of fun, yay. So yeah, that's what we are doing today. I was in kind of a designy mood, and I'm a little bit behind, so I kind of need to get the stickers designed for the August sticker subscription anyway, which usually goes out in the first couple weeks of August. I'm not always the best at making sure that everything is super, like, exactly when I mean it to be, if that makes sense. Yay ADHD, because here we have, as you guys know, absolutely no shame around ADHD and all that good stuff that people deal with. We also embrace the tangent around here. So if you're new here and you're not prepared, you have been warned. Okay, now I actually have it up here, and if it wins, then then we can do some hunting. Let me go ahead and get the poll ready. Actually, let me go ahead and show you the options, and then I can get the poll ready while you guys are looking at them. So give me a sec. Here we go. Okay, so these are our 3 options that I pulled for today. So first, we have this really adorable animal tea party. Like, this little chipmunk is so giving me Alice in Wonderland vibes, but the rest of it not so much. And as you can see, it also has like a lot of autumnal elements. You have some leaves, you have some mushrooms, but it's still not like in your face autumn. Then we have this one. This is actually the original one that I planned to make the kit for August, but I felt like it would be fun to do a vote, so that's why I'm opening it up a little bit. But as you can see, this is a lot of, you know, autumnal elements, some mushrooms, very different style, as you can see. I'm pretty sure these are all by 3 different artists as well. By the way, I do license my artwork from the 𝗲𝗄𝗁 or I shouldn't say all of it, but a good deal of my kit artwork I license from the 𝗲𝗄𝗁. If you've heard of Creative Market, it's very similar to that. It's just a different site, has slightly different options, and I do have a link down below. As of right now, that's not an affiliate link. I am trying to become one of their affiliates, just because a little bit, you know, affiliate income helps here and there, but currently, as of streaming, it is not an affiliate link. If I do change it in the future, I will mark it as such. But anyway, I just wanted to let you know I have been using the 𝗲𝗄𝗁 to license my artwork for pretty much as soon as I stopped, or pretty much since I started my sticker shop. So that would be November, no, even earlier than that, in 2017. So anyway, love this site. And then this is the last one. As you can see, it's not very autumnal, but it is so much fun. It's called well, as you can see, it's the Mythical Retro Collage. A lot of these packs have, of course I'm explaining it and haven't actually set up the poll. A lot of these packs will have a promo image, so you can kind of see what comes with it. So that's where this one and this one come from. And then this is one of their pre-done like scenes, since it didn't have a promo image, but I just wanted to give you an option. What we should do, give me a chance to create the poll, okay, please excuse my spelling, but the poll should be up momentarily. I'm just reading the comments while we're waiting here. I'll give you guys a couple of minutes, as it looks like I only have 4 people here right now, so it won't take too long, hopefully, to poll everybody who does want to participate. I believe the poll itself may be anonymous. I don't see a way for it to let me see who says what. I don't know if that matters, but I just thought I'd mention it. So I'm seeing a message here from Sarah saying you had an EMG today and you're sore and tired, but you're happy to be able to make it. Yeah, I'm so happy that you were able to make it too. I'm excited to just kind of hang out, chat about whatever, and if you're not chatting about anything specific, then I'll just kind of do stream of consciousness, either whatever I feel like talking about or whatever I'm working on, and just kind of explain my thought process in designing. So hopefully it should be fun. Yes, so far Autumn Sweets is winning. I guess I should say that since I did say I'm gonna do Mythical Retro Collage eventually, probably if it doesn't win, it's like if you're between these two, I could see how people would vote for this one. I guess the part of the reason why I was a little hesitant to do it like entirely autumnal is just because I do like to be a month ahead when it comes to my theme kits, when it comes to the sticker subscription. But at the same time, I know that August is still the summer. It's still very warm and hot, especially here. And in a lot of places, school has not started yet. So for anybody, by the way, it looks like we just got a couple other people bouncing in here. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for being here and welcome. We are voting on which of these 3 themes of graphics we are going to use to make the sticker kit. And for anybody, hey, Coco's my cat, if you're not familiar. She's biting on my cords. Ooh, good point, Sharon. Use autumn to escape the summer heat. It's usually not too bad here in Portland with summer heat. I mean, we're all wimps. We complain when it starts going above like 72, 75. But this week is going to be a heat wave. We usually call a heat wave like anything above like 85 to 90, but it is going to be going into the low hundreds. So when I say heat wave, I mean like heat wave. So yeah, I definitely have like all of my blinds closed and all of my lights off except my ring light. I had one of my desk lamps on earlier because I was processing orders, but I turned it off as soon as I was done, but I had to do it for cutting. My silhouette portrait, which is my sticker cutter, needs light in order to register where it needs to cut. So far, 𝗬𝗏 is winning at 100%, and we have 3 votes. So I think 𝗬𝗏 in this case is a pretty, like, unless we get a ton of more people in here that were to come in and completely sway it, 𝗬𝗏 is winning. So I think we're just going to go ahead and end the poll here. Thank you guys. I would also love to hear from you guys in the comments, just like while I am moving over to Photoshop. Did you guys like the idea of voting on what theme we're doing, or does it really not matter to you? I don't know. As I said, I thought it would be kind of fun. Interestingly enough, the thing I was planning on doing anyway is what won, but not that that really matters. Like, that could happen another time. While I set up, let me just go back to the big face cam here, because I have so many things open on my desktop. I'm not sure. I want to pull the folder that has the okay, here we go. I wanted to pull the folder that had the assets in it. So yeah, this, by the way, I do not know the artist who did these off the top of my head, because I got this particular set of graphics from a bundle that the Hungry JPEG sold. It was their sweater weather bundle. It was a while ago that I got it. Basically, they have a bunch of bundles and they're usually a pretty good deal. So when they have a bundle, I typically buy it if there's stuff in there that I think I'll be able to use. So let me go ahead and go back to the screen share. Okay, so here is what we got going. Let me just make this a little bit, hopefully, easier to see. Yeah. Unfortunately, I kind of need a little bit of space for both of them, but I want as much designing space as possible, but I also want to easily show what graphics are here. So usually I've used stuff in list mode, but when I'm doing this sort of thing, I always change it here. So most of what I'm going to be using here are the elements, and this is what we got to work with. So we're going to be doing a lot of arrangements and stuff. I typically just use one graphic set for each kit, because if I start using different ones, then I have to try to make sure that the styles match and the colors go together and stuff like that. Yeah. I'm just looking at the comments here. Sharon liked the poll. I'm glad. Leah saying you like the poll, but maybe another option or 2 is not a bad idea either. Okay, so you're saying like 4 or 5 different options? That could be fun. I love that. And I'm glad you like the Mythical Retro too. That was one of the reasons why I bought that particular bundle. And let me go ahead and pause all my downloads now that I know I don't have to worry about it. That way I am not clogging up my bandwidth. Okay, yay! So yeah, honestly, I figured out I was going to do a poll about 15 minutes before the stream started. So I definitely could have been more prepared for it. And hopefully if I do it again next time, I'll have a little bit more prep time. So let's go ahead and get into the basis of it. As I said, we're in Photoshop to actually design the full boxes. I have each of these art boards sized exactly to the size that I need for the full boxes once I move them into Silhouette Studio. These are sized as full boxes for the Erin Condren Vertical. And then I'm currently putting the fine touches on the compact vertical kit template, but there will not be, currently I have vertical kits. I have a big kit, a mini kit, and a functional kit, and then I'm currently designing the compact vertical kit, and for that one it doesn't have full boxes, but I have decorative, like other decorative elements where it like goes in the boxes behind it. Anyway, I designed these and I kind of use this for everything else, is what I'm trying to say. And each artboard has a different folder. So what I usually like to do is kind of throw things in there and kind of figure out what I'm doing. And while there are a ton of different elements to work with here, it's almost one of those situations where it's a little overwhelming at this point, to be perfectly frank with you. So I'm just gonna start throwing stuff in there. That piece of cake looks really cute. So I'm just gonna start with artboard 1 because I'm gonna go down the list to start. I'll probably do something else, but I think that is enough to kind of like do graphical elements around it. I have to decide, oh, okay, we have to do one with macarons. So cute, so cute. I will do the macarons down here in artboard 7. I know I said I was just gonna like go like around, but actually, even though I probably will end up rearranging these in the final kit. Oh, right, I forgot I have to turn that particular setting off. Where is it? I'll figure it out later. I know last time I was having this problem. Oh, maybe I didn't, maybe that was what I wanted to do. There we go. I keep forgetting because I like weird Photoshop settings because they've changed the defaults a few different times. And I tend to like the old defaults because that's what I learned on. So right now I'm just kind of scrolling through here. I'm not sure if I want to do the pumpkin because I don't necessarily want to tie it too much to Halloween, even though you also get like pumpkin pies around the holidays. I think we're good there. I love these. I don't remember what these are called, but oh my goodness, we used to have all of these. I think we called them like helicopter seeds when I was a kid. So cute. And I think we definitely need like a cup of something delicious, or maybe 2 cups of something delicious. Ooh, there are both of, come on. Come on, come on, come on. Those are both so cute. I can't decide which one I want. I think I'm gonna go with this one, at least for now, because the marshmallows don't have a huge contrast with the whipped cream, whereas at least a couple of the elements on the whipped cream on this one stand out quite a bit. If somebody really likes the pink more than the mint, let me know and we can swap it out. I'm not actually all that married to this one. At this point, I am still in the like throw stuff in there and we'll deal with it later phase of the process. Ideally, I get something thrown in there for all the full boxes and then I kind of deal with the rest of it later. I go back and fine tune it later. So that is what I'm doing here. I feel like we need like half of them to be kind of sweets focused, and then maybe the other half can be a little bit more nature focused. But then I'm also probably going to put some nature elements in on the sweets one. So maybe we have like 5 that are sweets focused, and then like the other 3 are just nature. What do you think? Let me know. We're going to do this one in artboard 4. I'm going to do a pine cone. What else is going to be there other than the pine cone? No idea. Pine cone, however, is probably going to be on a slant, so I might as well just do that now. Hopefully, as I go through, let's do an acorn with the pine cone, and it will just be, I don't know, adorable. That actually is kind of cute. I wasn't thinking like just having them together would be adorable, but it kind of is. I kind of like it. There we go. Artboard 4. And let's make our pine cone a little bigger so it's slightly more proportional. I will remind you guys that the very edge of all of these boxes will be cut off. It's what's called a bleed. How big is a pine cone in comparison to an acorn? This is the kind of thing I would like totally Google. Oh yeah, so there's gonna be a bleed around everything. That way, if and when the stickers cut a little off, they there's not a white border around it. So I will probably at some point intentionally be making everything smaller. Like I was like, oh, I like that arrangement. Let's make it smaller because I know the sides will be cut off. And that's just kind of how it goes. I feel like we need to have one, maybe we'll do it in Artboard 2, where it's just like a bunch of different leaves. I think that would be really pretty. And maybe a little bit of flowers too. But I feel like I'm not going to shy away from the florals in this one by any means. I think that locks it, right? Nope. I was struggling with this. There we go. Okay. For some reason, I keep wanting to put my left hand down right now instead of having it up, whereas usually I want to have it up to kind of, I don't know, I want to have both hands on the keyboard while I'm working, but right now it's getting annoying, so I'm not going to do that. Oh, so what I was saying is I'm not going to shy away from florals in this particular design. I know sometimes I do want to keep it not floral-y, but I also don't want to focus on the florals, but like I'm not going to actually shy away from them, if that makes sense. Ooh, I love the pinks of here. This one's really pretty. I love how I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna focus on florals, and then I find a pink thing to make it center. So even though it's not super florally, it's still kind of girly. Oops. And eventually I'll probably want the stems going off the frame just for purposes of making it look, I don't know, nice. But I have a couple tricks I can do with that down the road, so I'm not really going to worry about that now. But I just thought I'd mention that as I'm designing, I am keeping a lot of this stuff in mind, and I'm probably spending a little bit too much time on this particular box than I should at this point in the process, but that's okay. As I said earlier, I'm mostly just trying to like kind of get a base in here. So that I can then go and kind of fine tune each box. I feel like I need more here, but I'm not sure what to put on here. Oh, this is cute. Like very, like not florally, but I like that the fact that like they're different sizes and dimensions will kind of balance it out in some ways and give a little bit of variation. I'm also going to put drop shadows on like everything. I'm just not doing that currently because I haven't gotten to it yet. Ooh, this one's pretty. I say that on like every fifth floral. I like this light green to kind of go against that, and maybe this can be more in the background and like bigger. And I think I kind of want to flip that. I always forget off the top of my head which one like flicks just the image and which one flips the whole canvas in Photoshop. I think if I go through edit and transform, it just does that element. And if I go through image, then it will do the whole canvas. But I've never tried flipping a canvas when I was working with artboards, so that would be interesting. Hi, Samantha, welcome! I hope you are having a wonderful Monday. Oh, it's so nice to come back to Photoshop after using other things that like don't have some of the features Photoshop has, I have to say. I usually do my, it's a little mucky, we're gonna have to worry about that later, but I think I'm done with it for now. I usually do my thumbnails in Canva because it has some awesome templates, but I can't just like arrange and drag and drop the layers like I can in Photoshop, and that makes it so much easier. Yeah, so let's put something in Artboard 5 now, because we need something in Artboard 5. And I want to do something sweets related in Artboard 5, or at least food related, because while I don't want to do the pumpkin, I wouldn't have a problem with the melon. Hello, Ackman, welcome. I hope you're having a good one. Another Monday commute is done. I'm glad that you don't have to worry about the Monday commute anymore. Monday commutes are, well, the end of the day commute is kind of fun because you're like, I'm done. But the beginning of the day commute is like, it's a Monday, especially if you're not in a job that you like. Makes it even worse. Oh, I'm glad that you think this is cute. I am still in the I'm messing around with everything phase. So, oh, that is so cute. Okay, I think I do want to use the heart. I'm not sure if it will end up making the final cut. But I think the chocolate heart is very cute. I am putting it over here because we have a big brown thing here, but then I realized we have brown macarons and brown stuff here, so my attempt to balance so didn't work. Ooh, I could do a okay, donut or muffin or cupcake. I'm gonna call it a muffin, even though it's a cupcake, and because I can put frosting on it. So we're gonna do another poll for the last sweet one. What should be the focal element, the main focal element? On the last sweets full box. All right, I might have misspelled donut, but as always, I don't exactly care. I am starting to get a little hungry though. So since you guys have a couple minutes to vote, I'm gonna go like just grab something real fast and like stick it in my mouth real fast, and you guys can go ahead and vote. I'm not even gonna go back to the be right back screen. That's how fast I'm gonna be back. I'm gonna be gone like a minute tops. Okay, maybe not a minute tops. It's gonna be pretty darn short. I'm literally just going to turn my camera off and turn off my mic if I can find my camera. No, that's not it. Where is it? There we go. Okay. Mute it. 1 sec. Nope, I can't find it. Where do I mute? There we go, I think. Hello, I'm coming back. If I can figure out where my camera is again, because I lost it. Woo, okay. In case anybody's curious, I don't actually have a lot in my house that's very grab-and-go friendly, unless you want to watch me eat a couple ice cream sandwiches, and I figured if I'm hungry, I shouldn't be doing that. All I could really find was this, like, knockoff 𝗬𝗓𝗏 thing. It's the chocolate chip cookie dough, and it's been in my purse for, like, a long time, so I've decided it's time to put it out of its misery. Okay. So, let me go ahead and check out the poll here. We have 5 votes. And there are 6 people currently watching, so I think I'm going to give it like 30 more seconds, and then we're going to end our poll. But I don't know if you guys can currently see. I don't know how these polls exactly work, but the Cupcake's currently winning. The camera's on the phone, but where's the camera phone button? I mean, I have a camera on my phone, but I'm not currently using it. Oh, what brand of the bar thing? You had your, it's the Target brand, Good and Gather. I'm not sure, it's fuzzy anyway. So, and of course, if you're on like a phone, it's like a lot smaller. Chocolate chip cookie dough actually is not my favorite, but I'm like weird when it comes to chocolate. Like, it's good for what it is. I have a problem with it more because it's chocolate than because it doesn't taste good. In fact, I love lemon Lara bars, and I think the Good and Gather like lemon knockoff Lara bars are kind of weird. But I ended up with this because I ate all the good ones. My favorite is cashew cookie. So yeah. Oh, Ackman, since I did lose the camera that one day. Makes sense. So. Okay, this was a good decision because it has like a little sugar pick-me-up, but it's not like terrible sugar. Oh, you're on a phone, but you saw it that time? You like their mixed berry granola bars? I have not tried those, I don't think. I do get the, what are they called? They're Nature's Valley. They're the bars. They're the ones that are like, they have like nuts in them, and then they have either like yogurt or chocolate on the bottom. And again, because I'm weird about chocolate, I don't like the ones with chocolate on the bottom, so I usually get the ones with like the yogurt on the, I mean, it's not real yogurt, but you know. And my favorite in that one is cashew as well. I like cashews. So we are going to go with the cupcake. Yay! Okay. So let's go ahead and go over to Artboard 5. I hope you guys don't mind that I'm eating while I'm streaming. I have come to the executive decision that that's probably better than taking a break. Luna just launched mashup flavors. That sounds so good. I try not to eat a lot of bars because I have this whole thing where I like really detest cooking. I'd say right now, but it's been going on for like a year. Anyway, I have to be careful with the convenience foods that I buy because if I have a bunch of bars lying around, I'll just have that instead of like actually putting something together. And then I'll be in a situation like today where I need something fast, or if I'm going out and I won't have any bars. So yeah. I'm just trying to find the frosting ones. There's one up there, but I don't think it's the right, I didn't think it was the right angle. This might not be quite right either. I might have to make some adjustments, but I'll make it work. Oh, that's so cute. And then I can decorate the top of it. Okay, I'm gonna try the other one. It looked like it was gonna be too, like, not right. Too not right. Way to go, Taff. You're so eloquent. Oh, maybe that will be good. Maybe this was the one that was meant for the cupcake. I think it is, actually. Glad I tried it. I have to say, I do kind of like the point. Is it worth trying to make the point one work, you guys think? Or should I just stick with this and call it good? You're very happy I started this stream. Hopefully it keeps you seated. Yeah, I have a really hard time staying seated sometimes too. What is this supposed to be? Is that like a cookie? Sometimes the graphics will say what they are, and in this case, they so don't. I'm pretty sure that's not like a frosting thing I could easily put on top. Oh, this is supposed to be whipped cream for that. I mean, not that, I mean, I can put it on whatever I want, but that's, now this makes sense. I was like, why wasn't it like right next to it if that's what it was supposed to be? But the whole point of this is I get to do what I want and make it look cute. Yeah, I kind of like, I like the point at the top. So I don't do this very often, but I'm going to see if I can remember how to use the warp thing. Maybe it's in transform. Okay, so that's part of it, I think. I think there's a way to like turn each of those into a little point thing and like change where they are. I'm just pressing different shit on my keyboard to see if I, nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it either. Good. I keep relearning stuff also, like constantly. Like, oh, there's that thing that I used to know how to do and then completely forgot about. Maybe if I don't think I made it so you guys could see that, but up here, usually I don't use this top bar for this sort of project, but previously I had linked it together so that when I resized it, it didn't go out of proportion. But what I just did is I unlinked it because that might have an impact. So I just realized I should show you guys what I did since I don't have it on stream. I wanted to show you guys as much as like what was actually going on here as possible. And in hindsight, I probably should have actually done it slightly different so that this was cut off and then like move this down, whatever. I can, if I remember, figure it out for later. Oh, this is what I want. Haha, told you I'd figure it out. There we go. Okay, there was like a weird sound that my computer, oh, it was me trying to do something that is not allowed in the thing. Okay, this is fun. I always forget that this is a thing unless I come into a specific situation where I need it. And then I forget where it is. But I'm sure that there are a lot of situations where it would be like nice to be able to do this. And I just don't remember it because it's not, I guess, necessary enough. Okay, I need to put something on the top of there. It would be cool if they just had like little sprinkles. It would be a pain in the butt, but it would be cool. So we need something to decorate. I don't want to do the marshmallows that were up there if I can help it, just because they are very white, and this is very white. And it would be nice to kind of keep some contrast. And we also have marshmallows on other stuff, and I feel like marshmallows on cupcakes isn't like a thing that you normally see, I guess. Like I see marshmallow on a drink like this, and I immediately think it's a marshmallow. I see a marshmallow on a cupcake, and in illustration like this, where it's obvious, well, it's not a photorealistic marshmallow, I might get a little confused. We could do like maybe like a little citrus cupcake. That could be cute. Oh, right. Let's just do this. I just linked it again. Okay. Little citrus cupcake moment. I'm actually kind of liking this. Okay. I will say that I'm going to make some changes. We're going to group those together. Okay. That way I can resize the cupcake and the frosting together without having to do shit. I'm to the point in the stream where I have given up trying to not do my like very small amount of swearing to like make the YouTube gods happy. I don't know why I bother, because I mark this as not for kids and it's not monetized anyway, so who cares? But that's okay. I am the oldest, and so as a kid, you know, as a teenager, basically, as you start cursing, or cussing or whatever, using bad words. Anyway, I was the one that always had to censor myself because I had younger siblings who were significantly younger. So anyway. Oh, Samantha, I forgot about that. The swearing should only trigger issues in the first couple of minutes. Yeah, I've heard that. I've forgotten about it. But as I said, I'm not monetized anyway, so it shouldn't really matter. But still. Opie? I'm glad you're having fun, but please do not play with the pens on my desk. I was going to say I'm not in the mood for it, but let's be honest, Opie, I'm never in the mood to have you play with the pens on my desk. Ooh, Mother Cluck on a coffee mug. That's awesome. I should just do like a sticker with a chicken. I found a really pretty chicken graphic that I've been trying to figure out how to use. I could make a sticker out of that. Like a 2 or a 3 inch sticker. Like, they're not technically die cut stickers, so I don't like to call them die cut stickers, but like close. Easy peel die cut stickers, maybe you could call them. I don't know. Okay, I think I'm gonna leave the cupcake for now because I was trying to like just quickly get stuff in there, and I still have one more to go. So for this last one, I want it to be nature-y. And I kind of want to do something with like these like little flowers, but I also don't want to completely redo this. Okay. Also, Sharon, you completely remind me of someone that oh, sorry. I forgot that I can't do that. Someone that I used to coach, and now I am just, ooh, I should put whipped cream on this. All over the place. Yay, ADHD. And now I'm just in a coaching group with her. I was opening WhatsApp because that's where a lot of the coaching group stuff is, because I was just like, I should go check it. Oh, right, I'm streaming. And that's what I was printing last. Yay! Anyway. So anyway, two people, I like to describe her as like a crazy chicken lady in the same way that like I'm a crazy cat lady. Like not actually crazy, but like using it like as a very endearing term. And yeah, she's amazing. The graphic on the bottom right, the heart thing, I think it's a chocolate heart. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with it yet. I honestly might change it out because I'm feeling it a lot less than the rest of them. But I feel like I should get something in Artboard 6 before I figure that out. And I think I do want to do something somewhat florally in Artboard 6, like actually lean into it. I mentioned this earlier, but I know some people have joined since the beginning, so I don't want to mansplain or repeat myself 50 million times, but also with streams, people just kind of like show up whenever, so I also don't want to leave people out. But I think my plan is going to be to, for a lot of the sweet stuff, there'll probably end up being some nature-y elements in there. And then in the ones that are nature, I probably won't put much, if any, in the way of sweet elements, which is why I have more full boxes that are dedicated to sweets, because there's also going to be nature-y stuff. So the idea was between the two to kind of like balance it out. And then I also will mention that there's going to be a drop shadow going on pretty much every graphical element. I just haven't done it yet, but once I do it, things are going to stand out from each other a lot better, especially in these floral ones. I'll just show you what that will do here. Drop shadows are amazing. Okay, that's so not the actual settings I'm going to use. Interestingly enough, this happened to be the settings I was using last time I was doing a drop shadow. Probably do something a little bit more like this. So just to let me, oh, won't let me zoom in while I'm in this, but oh, I can do this and then show you on and off. I'll probably go in and see if I want to fine tune it, but there you can see the difference and like how it's standing out. So I usually end up putting a drop shadow, even if it's a very small one, on almost everything in these full boxes. Or when I design full boxes, but right now I don't feel like doing that quite yet, so I'm not gonna. I'll save it. Let's see, here's that. Another floral thing. Maybe we can do like two floral, well, one floral and one more like botanical bouquet. Maybe it won't be completely like repeat. It won't be too much of a repeat. I have to say, I do like some of these like brighter reds next to the duller browns and greens there. Oh, sorry, I should scooch that over so you can actually see more of what I'm doing. Also, they're all gonna get backgrounds that are not stark white. I just, again, have not gotten to quite that place in the process quite yet. I like this little guy. That little guy's probably also going to go in this one now that I'm thinking about it. But again, I can figure that out later. Okay, I think I want you at the bottom. And a little bigger. I want you like in the back. And also just because it came to my brain right now, my goal is to get as much of this done as I can on stream. I know the last full boxes I designed, the mermaid ones, took me like 3 streams plus some time off stream. I really hope, well, this can't take that long because they have to be done sooner. But yeah, I don't want this to take that long. I just, I will work on it off stream if I have to, but I do want to get as much done on stream as I possibly can, so that you guys can see my process, because that's like part of the fun. I don't know. I like seeing artists' process, especially if it's something that I do end up deciding I want to buy, whether or not you guys want to buy this kit either singly or subscribe to the sticker club. Like, it's fun to see these sorts of things, in my opinion. So I think I'm kind of starting to put too much in here. It's not quite right yet, but I think we're at a point. I want to revisit this one because I'm not liking the little chocolate heart anymore, but I'm not sure if there's anything else sweets related that I really want to do that I haven't already done. I'm trying to figure out what these are. Like, is this like a Ferrero Rocher? The thing that this reminds me of is a coffee stain, except it's not like an actual ring. I don't know what that is. Same with this one. Help me. I know that one is like one of those chocolate straw things. This one's supposed to be like a little stick or a straw. I think it's a straw. I think it's like a metal straw. maybe something like this could just be like a decoration on top of the whipped cream on artboard 1. I know I keep saying I need to figure out all the artboards before I go back, but yay ADHD when I come up with something. I know earlier I was thinking this could be like a cookie or something. Let's see if it looks cute on top of the whipped cream. I'm not sure I really like that. I haven't used any of these mushrooms yet. Maybe I should do mushrooms here. I forgot about those. Or I could just put mushrooms in the other stuff, since I am going to be using those sorts of graphical elements. That's, oh, I didn't see these earlier. Oh, this little clump of mushrooms. What I find so funny is that I actually, in real life, despise mushrooms. I hate them. Okay, I actually don't have a huge problem with the flavor of them. The issue is the texture. So unless they are legitimately like ground into nothing and mixed into something, I hate them. But I think they're so cute graphically. So cute. I was looking for something and then I forgot what I was looking for. Story of my life. Oh, I was gonna try this one, I think. It was like not very much farther down. Okay, so make sure I'm in artboard 1 so it goes to the right one. There we go. Okay. I'm not sure if I like anything on top of the whipped cream. Like if I had anything up there, I think I'd want it to kind of contrast color-wise. And I'm not sure if we have anything that would really contrast. I mean, I could do like a macaron, but then it would be huge compared to it. Same with the donuts. Ooh, you need to assign someone to remind you of all your sudden ideas once you're done with your current task or become a compulsive notepad taker. That actually would be a good idea. I do have a notebook that's near me. I often forget. What I actually did though the other day, you guys might get a kick out of this, is remember a few weeks ago where I did the plan with me with the compact vertical mermaid kit, and I was like, it's a combination plan with me / testing a new kit new kit / new template for kit, right? So I ended up having to go back through the stream and listen to it to get all of the comments that I'd said I needed to change. I did listen to it at 1.5 speed and I was doing other stuff while I was doing it and just like taking notes when stuff came up. Ooh, maybe I could pull this. I'm pretty sure that kind of flower is edible and that would be nice and contrasty. I'm gonna give that a shot. It might end up going absolutely nowhere, but I want to try it. So I'm actually going to try erasing around it while it's bigger. So I'm doing what's called a layer mask. And the reason why I'm doing it this way, I don't think I've done too much in the way of masks on stream, so I will kind of explain this, is it allows me to effectively erase without getting rid of what's actually there, so I can essentially bring it back later if I want to. If you're not like into graphic design, it might be kind of like, it might feel like splitting hairs, but it's actually very, very handy. But I'll just show you, for example, I'm just trying to figure out what size brush I want, maybe like 70. There we go. Okay. So I erased through that, right? So what I'm doing is I'm drawing on the layer mask in black, and black effectively erases or essentially hides whatever is in it. And if I go back with white, I can bring it back. So this is handy if you change your mind. Or the other thing is that when you're doing like graphic manipulation and whatnot, a lot of things that you do to images end up effectively like degrading the quality of the image. you know, erasing is one of those things. So if you can do your editing or arranging in such a way that you're not degrading the quality, then you're going to end up with a better end result. I'm trying to explain this like so that it is accurate, but also makes sense for people that don't necessarily know stuff like this. I'm sure I learned it from like actual teachers, but where I actually remember it is from a bus driver that I had in high school. I had to think for a minute because my high school, what I consider high school was like 8th through 12th grade. It was like a whole thing. So I'm like, wait a minute, was this an 8th grade thing? I'm pretty sure he was like, it was either 9th grade or 10th grade. Not that it matters, but anyway. This is the guy, so like he was a amateur photographer, and so sometimes we'd talk about that sort of thing just because it was interesting, and I would, like, there weren't very many people on my bus, so there weren't very many people to talk to, and the only girl that was on my bus in my neighborhood, I won't say we didn't get along, but we didn't have a lot to talk about. Anyway, yeah, I know, I'm like, I don't think this is gonna work. I have to say it does look like a little bit like a cherry or something like that, or a raspberry maybe. Maybe if I elongate it, it could like read as a raspberry. Or actually, instead of elongating it, I think I'm gonna duplicate it. Because if I elongate it, I'll just show you what happens if I elongate it. Whereas if I duplicate it, I can just kind of like put them on top of each other, and I can stack them effectively. See? And then what I can also do is I can make the bottom one just a little bigger so I can shape my pseudo raspberry. Now, are raspberries in season in the fall? I'm pretty sure no. Am I going to let this stop me? Also no. Okay. What do you guys think? It's actually kind of cute. I like it from a colorful perspective. Maybe if I like tilt the raspberry. Huh. I have 3 raspberries and I don't want 3. Okay, there we go. 2 raspberries, or 2 things for raspberries. You were thinking the same about the colors. I'm glad. I'm thinking if I like put it on its side or something, maybe it will make it a little bit more graphically interesting. Okay, I kind of like that. I kind of do. All right, I want to hear what you guys think. It still needs work. It needs, like, the whole thing needs to be resized. But I'm actually kind of liking that, and I think it brings a little pop of color into it, into, like, the main graphical element. Yeah. So now, Artboard 8. I'm not quite sure what I want to do with that. I could just use one of these and do like a meringue or something like that. That could be fun. I could do the pumpkin pie. I know I said I wanted to kind of like go away from pumpkin pie because I didn't want to necessarily invoke the holiday feelings, but I still could do that. I feel like even though the apple is fall, it just doesn't quite fit. Like with an orange, I know orange is a fruit too. I mean, so is the raspberry for that matter. Raspberry definitely is kind of summery, so now I'm not sure. But with the orange, like I'm gonna edit it so that it looks like it's stuck in there and it's not just like on top. I just, again, have not gotten around to that yet. Yeah. I feel like an apple, like you could do like a candied orange and then it kind of like falls a little bit more into the sweets category than an apple. I mean, worst comes to worst, I guess I could do like a pile of marshmallows, but that feels like a little bit more of a summer thing. I could do a donut. I feel like a donut, like, not that any of this isn't a little out of the blue, but a donut doesn't quite seem to fit somehow. I could just do another botanical one. I could do the mushrooms maybe. Seriously, there are berries here and I completely forgot about them. I could have just grabbed an actual berry. I think that would actually, as much as I like my little raspberry, I think grabbing one of these berries might end up looking better. Except that this is like either a strawberry or a blueberry, or strawberry or raspberry, and as we already discussed, raspberries aren't exactly very fall-y, and strawberries are in the summer too. But since we actually have berries, and while I like the color in this, I'm not as much of a fan of, I like it for the color, not for the graphical element, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. No worries about the kittens on 𝗬𝗏𝘗. You like the raspberry? Okay, maybe I am overthinking it. I'm gonna leave it alone then. Okay. Give me just a sec, guys. I highly doubt I'm gonna do anything with this, but I just saw an email from the 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 Society. Oh my goodness. Showing that saying that they need bottle baby fosters. Oh my goodness, it's a tortie. Okay, you guys want to see the kittens? You guys are going to see the kittens. Give me a sec. I don't think I can do bottle babies, like, on my own. Like, maybe I could do, like, a night or two, but you guys saw how crazy, like, tired and weird I was. So let me pull up this in the email, and then I can pull it into the screen share. Oh, whoops. Ah, come on. It hates me. Let me stop the screen share and then I will get this set up to show you the babies, and then we shall get back to designing, but the babies are just too cute. Okay. Here are the oh, I forgot to do the screen share. Here are the kitties. Aren't they cute? They're 5 days old. They're so pretty. They're, okay, in theory there are new kittens, Samantha. They're not actually new kittens at my place, but the Oregon Humane Society has kittens that they need a new home for. But first off, I need a break from fostering, but second off, I don't think I'm the right person for bottle babies. Oh yeah, the other kittens went back like 2 or 3 weeks ago now. It's been a little while. And I need a break from fostering. Usually, I often take at least a few weeks, if not a few months break in between foster assignments. And usually when I go back to fostering, it's like a split decision, like, I need to foster, and then I keep an eye out for the emails. But like these little 5-year-old babies, they don't even have their eyes open. They're so cute. And this actually, I was gonna say this might, well, they're opening their eyes. This actually might be the same kitten as what I was saying, but now I'm thinking not. And the funny thing is that I think I've actually been in the room where this photo was taken. It's funny that I can like recognize the rooms now. But yeah, they're 5 days old. They're looking for a foster home. They're champion eaters, which is great. The last babies I had a hard time learning how to latch, and that was my first foster, or my first bottle baby, so I was frustrated. 2 of their litter mates found a home, but these vulnerable... Oh, they're so cute, and I want them, but I am not going to be a happy camper tomorrow if I foster them. I hope they find a good home. Temporary home. Okay. Kitten break over. But yeah. Also, if anybody lives in the Houston area and is looking to adopt a cat, I may know somebody who is looking to get some kittens adopted out. And I don't know, I did not run this announcement by them ahead of time, so I'm not going to mention their name just in case. But yeah, if you're in the Houston area and looking to adopt a cat, there's somebody who has a litter of kittens they're trying to find homes for. Samantha, you struggle with tight time tasks, so bottle kittens would be stressful. Yeah, for me it was more of a sleep deprivation thing. I will say that there are a lot of things that I like have a really hard time keeping on schedule for, but when you have a little kitten who needs to be fed, it is pretty good incentive. I was kind of in 24/7 waiting mode, not to miss a feeding. I also used a lot of alarms. I had alarms on my actual phone, and then I have an old Android phone that I keep around as an alarm clock because there's an app on that phone, and I'll go into why I don't use it on my iPhone in a second. There's an app on that old Android phone that is an alarm clock app that makes you do math problems to turn it off. And you can choose what kind of math problems you want. I usually do like 2-number addition, so it's not very hard, but it is just hard enough so that when I am asleep or like not even half awake, I can't do it. So yeah, that is the alarm clock I use when I like need to get up. The reason why I don't use my iPhone for that, because there are similar apps on iPhone, but I keep my iPhone on silent almost all the time, unless I'm specifically expecting a call or a text, or I need to like be on top of a notification and like do something exactly when I get that notification. I almost always keep my phone on silent. I'm gonna say like, it's probably safe to say 99% of the time, maybe 98 or 97 to be safe. So I'll say 97% of the time to be safe. I keep my iPhone on silent, and only the native clock app, the one that comes with an iPhone, will make noise if your phone is on silent. If you have a third-party app, it will not make noise if you have your phone in silent mode. Now, I know there's a way to get around a lot of this stuff with focus modes, but honestly, I never quite figured out focus modes, and I got pissed off and turned them off. So, that is currently where I am as far as alarm clocks go. But anyway, especially overnight feedings, I would use my old Android to make sure that I got up, because I do have a history of sleeping through alarms or pressing snooze in my sleep and having absolutely no memory of doing so. But I also used my iPhone because if I was not near the Android phone, which has to stay plugged in because it's so, like, we're talking legit 10-year-old phone here. The battery, like, does not last for more than a few hours, even if it's on airplane mode at this point. So, anyway, it has to stay plugged in. So I would also put alarms on my iPhone so that if I was not near the Android phone, which stays near my bed, that I would still hear it. But yeah, it was very hard for me to sleep, especially because I need some time to like wind down when I sleep. And I think if I was in a situation where there were no other option for bottle babies, I would do bottle babies again for a couple of nights. Or, I mean, okay, where I am currently, I would do bottle babies again for a couple of nights. But I think really the optimal setup for bottle babies is to have a situation where you have two people who can feed overnight. Because having to get up every 2 to 3 hours is very different than having to get up every 4 to 6 hours. And, you know, especially if you have two people that are on different sleeping cycles, whether you're roommates or partners or whatever, if one person goes to bed early and then one person goes to bed late, you can time it so each person only has to get up during the night once, maybe, or something like that. And so that's really the ideal situation, because then nobody is super sleep deprived. Whereas with me, I was a person, I was one person, and like, don't get me wrong, those were cute kittens and I do not regret fostering them, but like in the long run, I don't think I am really in a place where I'm not in a place where I can take care of myself and foster bottle babies for more than like a day, maybe 2. Because at that point, like, I mean, not that all-nighters are fun, and it wasn't really an all-nighter, but, you know, like, you know, for 1 or 2 days, like, okay, it's temporary. But when you get on like a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, it gets rough. So anyway, yeah, that's my thought. And right now, I previously would do fostering in my bedroom, but then I would have to kick Coco and Opal out of my bedroom for that. And I noticed this time around when I had the bottle babies, it didn't make sense for me to keep them in my bedroom when they were super small, because they were living in their crate or their carrier anyway. So I just kept them in the bathroom. I actually kept them in the bathtub, but they were in their carrier in the bathtub. And usually Coco and Opal get a little weird when I have fosters. And this time they got a little weird, but like not nearly as weird. Their behavior did not change nearly as much. Coco especially is like kind of your classic scaredy cat in a lot of ways. Like, her behavior did not change a lot in the past when I've had them in my bedroom. Coco has like basically like cleared out of my main room, the one that I'm in right now, and she's like lived in my little alcove area for like, you know, we're talking like a month and a half at a time. Partially it's because I have glass doors on my bedroom, but even if I cover them, she does this. And this time with these kittens, I will say she was not a fan of going near the bathroom door, but the bathroom is already a zone where Coco and Opal are not allowed. So it wasn't a huge difference in their routine. The biggest thing that happened is they didn't like creepily wait outside the bathroom door for me, which I know it's kind of creepy, and I acknowledge that it's creepy, like every single, or maybe not every single time, actually sometimes I thank them for waiting for me, but in the grand scheme of things, that's not a big difference in behavior, is my point. So so yeah, I don't think fostering in my bedroom is a great option, and I don't really have any other places that have doors on them. It's pretty much my bathroom or bedroom, because it's a 1-bedroom apartment. The alcove is like kind of a separate room, but there's not a door on it, hence why I call it an alcove and not a room. I do want to move my craft table into there. I think I've been saying this for a while. I'm getting closer. I almost have the alcove cleared out so that I have the space I want for my craft table in there. And then I just have to like actually do the clearing. I have to move the craft table, but there's like so much stuff on the craft table that is not organized and spilling off and on the floor that I don't want to like just move a whole bunch of mess in there. I actually want to like organize it in some way, and I'm sure there's a bunch of stuff that just needs to get tossed. I do resin crafting mostly on that craft table for anybody who's curious. So with resin, you can put a ton of stuff in it. And so there are a lot of different options for things that you could do. So I end up accumulating a lot of shit. Not literal shit, but like a lot of random stuff. Like, oh, I would throw this away normally, but oh, I'll try this in resin sort of deal. So I just need to kind of go through it and figure out, okay, what's actually worth keeping. I've also gotten some stuff at the dollar store in the past that at the time I thought was a cool idea and then did not end up working out for one reason or another. And so I think some of that stuff is at a point where I just need to give it away. I'm really bad at getting rid of stuff, but I think that stuff that like I actively don't want to use is good. And then I also, this is like more of a project sort of thing, but I have a bunch of eyeshadow palettes specifically. For those of you who don't know, I started my channel as a makeup channel, and I still have all, I don't think I took down many, if any, of those videos when I kind of swapped over to planning. So they're still there. And in fact, the videos that are doing best on replays are actually not directly like makeup videos, but I think like my videos on like return policies at Sephora and Ulta, and then one about like what I do about boob stink in the summer are like my best videos as far as replays go, or my best performing. So anyway, I have a lot of makeup and I barely ever wear makeup anymore. So I am in the long process of essentially depotting all of my eyeshadows and grinding them up so they can be used in resin products, similar to like mica or another sort of powdered pigment would be. But that is a little bit of a messy process and I have to be in the right mood for it. So anyway, there are some stuff here in the chat that I want to look at. I've just been like, honestly, like going around seeing if anything's catching my eye while I'm talking, just so you know what I'm doing. Samantha, you recently got a Garmin watch and for some reason the alarms timer have worked much better. I have an old Fitbit and it is like the battery is dead, but I think it actually works okay. Now, it worked fine last time I used it, which was a few years ago, but like it wasn't like wearing out or anything at that time. I don't know if it's still compatible with current technology, but I have to find the cable. Anyway, what I was saying is that the alarm on it, like going off on my wrist, from what I remember, actually worked very well. So I can totally see that that worked very well. And I'm glad you like hearing my systems for things. Usually when I have a system for something that I actually keep and do on a regular basis, there's like a reason behind said system because I'm so bad at keeping up with systems. Blame the ADHD. But when I have a system that works well, it's crazy how easy it is. This is a completely random example, but this was the problem for like the longest time for me. So, my kitchen is set up, I swear I'm going somewhere with this. My kitchen is set up so it's like, it's a kitchenette. I do not have like built-in appliances unless you want to count a sink as an appliance. So I have like a little counter and like the amount of counter that you would see, like in a bathroom, if you have like, oh, I have like a big bathroom counter, like that's the amount of counter space basically that I have in this kitchen. Not very much. And so I have like a little cart thing, like kind of on the wall across from the counter where I keep my toaster oven and I keep my Keurig, which I mostly just use for heating water, and some other things. And there's a couple drawers in there that I use for storage. And so one of the things that I would put in those drawers was pot holders. And I had the hardest time actually putting those pot holders away. It was easy to grab one when I needed them for the toaster oven because they were right there, but it was really hard to remember to put those away. I recently, however, got Dollar Tree off-brand command hooks, but you know what I mean. And I put them on the side of my cabinets, and now it's absolutely not a problem putting them away. And it's like 2 extra steps to grab them. Like I usually prep the pot holder a little bit before I have to take whatever it is out anyway. So it's not a big deal, but before I always used to have like pot holders all over my kitchen, and now I don't. It's like crazy what little things can do that actually make a difference. So yeah, that is my weird like system thing. I'm sure I have other systems in place that might sound weird but work for me, and so yeah, yeah, yay. You also said when your cat had an emergency surgery last year, you took turns sleeping on the couch with her and getting up every few hours. Yeah, so much better than doing a solo. Oh my God, yeah. So I think I've mentioned it here a couple times, but 2 days after I adopted Coco and Opal, and this was in like 2015, 2016, like this was a few years ago. And this is when I did have a traditional job and I wasn't running my own business. But anyway, Opal had to have emergency surgery 2 days after I got her. Basically, when she got spayed, it got infected. And so she had to wear a cone for a while, and she couldn't eat from a bowl with the cone. And because she was small, she couldn't eat a lot of food at one time. And she also, so anyway, at the time I was living with my mom, and so my mom was so sweet, and she got up in the middle of the night. I think it was like once or twice to make sure that Opal didn't need like food. Oh, water was the other one. She couldn't drink water. I think that's more of what it was. We were worried about her getting enough water. But yeah, Sharon, good night, or good evening or whatever. I hope you sleep well, because you said you had a tiring day, but even if you didn't have a tiring day, I hope you sleep well. Anyway, so yeah, my mom was so nice, and she stayed up with her because I had to work a normal job, and I was like, yes. I would never even have thought of doing bottle babies, by the way, had I had a traditional job. Like, even if I was able to bring the kittens to work, and apparently a lot of people have managed to bring kittens, like bottle baby kittens, to work and just like feed them on breaks and whatnot, because otherwise they just sleep and they don't really get in the way. I would not have been able to do that if I had to keep a normal schedule. But I'm like, oh, I work for myself. Like, this is about as ideal of a situation as you can get, being someone like who's on your own doing this. Yeah, on your own being the key thing there. So anyway, I still have some pictures of Opal in her cone. Let me know if you guys are interested, and I can dig some up sometime. But yeah, she was not fond of her cone, and we had to keep Coco and Opal separated for a little while because Opal, when she had the surgery, was feeling well enough to play, but if she played, she could like it wouldn't heal right. So it was really sad. We had to keep this kitten like so still. We kept her in a crate that my mom was using for her 70-pound lab dog. So we just like kept Opal in this crate, and she couldn't like play, and it was so sad. But now she's a little hellion, so like she does have a scar actually, but she's a cat. I don't. If there was lasting damage, it was not done in such a way that it is very obvious, if that makes sense. So yeah. I agree, Ackman, it's way too easy to get stuff at the dollar store thinking you'll use it eventually. It does help a little bit that the Dollar Tree just raised their prices a little bit. And so now, I mean, $1 versus $1.25 isn't that much of a difference, but when you're getting a few things, it adds up pretty quick. So, honestly, like, I'm done designing. I know I said I was going to try to get as much done as possible, but I said I was in a designing mood, but you know what? We've been working on this for like an hour and a half, and I'm kind of done for now. But I am not done streaming, so I am gonna stay here and just chat with you guys and tell you stories until either I run out of things to say, or you guys all leave, or both, or I get tired. Probably not more than like another half an hour, but we'll see. I typically do not have an end time to these streams specifically, because sometimes I feel like going 3 hours and sometimes I only feel like going an hour and a half or whatever. I do want to do a poll though. should we continue designing these full boxes on another stream? I do not currently have anything for Thursday. Or planned for Thursday. I've told you guys, I'm running out of ideas, guys. Running out of ideas. So if I don't have any other good ideas, we could just continue this on Thursday, and that could be fun. Or if something comes up or I come up with another good idea, maybe I won't continue this. So I'm just, because if you guys say you want to continue this on Thursday, I'm not promising that that will happen. But if everybody says no, then we definitely won't. Yay, lap kitties, Leah. I love lap kitties. My kitties are not lap kitties, but the foster kittens were. Like half of it was let's play in your lap, but they were still lap kitties. Yeah. So, oh, Samantha, you're saying it's jarring seeing my full face of makeup and straightened hair. I bet. Yes, I definitely look different without makeup on. Like, I mean, not in a bad way. I think so when I started wearing makeup, it was very much a confidence thing. And then the way I like to see it is like it helped me so much that then I didn't feel like I needed it for confidence. And it got to the point that like, sometimes I enjoyed doing it and sometimes I didn't. And you'll see on these streams, sometimes I will put on a little bit of makeup, but it's definitely not as much as I used to put on. Like a little bit of makeup for me back then was like a full face of makeup for everybody else. And a full face of makeup for me, or like proper makeup, was like 9 layers of makeup. And now I put that on and I feel like it's like cake face and it feels so weird. So it's crazy how far you can come. But back then I didn't feel comfortable coming on YouTube without makeup unless it was at the beginning of the tutorial to show you the before. And now I just decided, you know what, if I don't feel like doing makeup, I don't feel like doing makeup. I usually do fill in my brows a little bit. I use a dollar store brow. It's a Wet n Wild, so I happen to get it at the dollar store when they have it. If not, I'll just grab something like real cheap at Target. So I fill in my brows a little bit. Occasionally I put on mascara or foundation. For a while I was putting on like a mattifying primer and powder, but I gave up. Now it's just, as I said, I usually do my brows. Like by do my brows, I mean fill them in a little bit and like spend 30 seconds on it. But I feel like the glasses also help. These are mostly like reading. Okay, I'm supposed to wear them all the time, but I refuse and I can see well enough without them. But if I don't wear them in front of screens specifically, well, computer specifically, I get eye strain very easily. But anyway, I feel like with the glasses, because it's like, they don't frame my face, but it's like another graphical element on my face that I feel, I don't know, I feel more put together with them on from like a I'm going to be on camera point of view. Plus, anytime I sit down at my computer, I put them on anyway, so it just kind of makes sense to wear them. And it helps that aesthetically I'm a little bit happier, you know, seeing myself in the camera or on the screen with the glasses on. So it works out very nicely. As far as the hair goes, having the wavy hair is actually a fairly new development. So I think I've come on here a couple of times with straight hair, but it's not straight end hair. It's actually like just blow dried hair. So I have very fine hair that does not hold anything unless it is dried in that form and also has product in it. So for the longest time I thought I had straight hair, and the rest of my family either had curly hair or wavy hair, and it was so weird. I had curls when I was like a little kid. We're talking like 2 years old here. I was blonde and I had curls. Now I'm like half fake blonde, but whatever. We'll talk about the color in my hair in a minute if you guys are interested. I just realized I hadn't saved my stuff in Photoshop, and I'm like, just in case something crashes, I should probably save it. Okay, so for years and years and years, I'm like, well, my hair doesn't like dry perfectly straight. It like dries with like a couple of weird kinks in it. Maybe kinks isn't the right term, because I know that like there's a whole people that have like natural kinky hair, more of like the 4ABC range. Like I know that's actually a description term, but as a kid and a teenager specifically, like I would get like a dent in my hair in a couple of different places. And I would call them kinks. So, I'm trying to be as accurate as to what I did and thought and went through, but also respectful. I hope that it's not coming off as like condescending or overly PC, but I also don't have that experience having that hair type. So I also don't want to presume, or anyway. Sorry, I am getting way in my head about that. If you were offended with the way I'm describing my hair, please let me know so that I can educate myself. Anyway, so very fine hair, but I have a lot of it. So for the longest time, well, basically anytime I blow dry my hair, sometimes I get like a little bit of waviness at the bottom, but if I just blow dry it like normal, like, you know, blow dry it like top down on like high speed or medium speed, even low speed for that matter, it turns out pretty darn straight. And so the times that I've come on stream with straight hair, it's literally, I didn't have enough time to dry it wavy. And so I had to just like do a quick blow dry. And I am very lucky that my hair, when I just do that quick blow dry, actually ends up turning out pretty well. I do use like a brush, but it's not like a round brush or anything. It's literally one of the like kind of rectangle square like paddle brushes. Like it's like a small one, it's a cheap one, but it is what it is. Anyway, so there's that. And then in addition, back then I would also often flat iron my hair. And usually you can tell the difference by how much volume there is, and if it is like perfectly straight or not. But when I blow dry my hair like that, like I was talking about, it's still, for most people, would be called straight. However, when I do scrunch my hair with a ton of product in it, like curl creams and gels and stuff like that, it does hold a wave / curls in some places. And so I knew that I had this type of like wavy hair. I think I figured it out back in 2019. And I played around with it for a little bit, not very much. I didn't really have very much product, and there wasn't, most of the information that I was finding was directly from the Curly Girl method, which I know some people have heard thrown around even if you're not in that particular camp. Basically, it's a specific method to like take care of your curly or wavy hair. And some of the tips from that definitely work, but a lot of it does not work for me at all. So I did that for a little while. I had very long hair at the time. It actually was in better shape health-wise than it was back in February when I started this time around. But anyway, I just got sick of it. Again, most of it was that I was not using product at the time, and so it wasn't really holding and it wasn't really looking cute. But at the same time, usually there's a bit of a transition period. But after that, even though I wasn't actively trying to style it wavy, I really stopped flat ironing my hair nearly as much. Part of it was that I was working from home and I wasn't going anywhere, but I will admit that at least for a year or two before that, I wasn't doing as much to my hair as I had been previously. So anyway, then back in like late January, early February of this year, not gonna lie, this past winter was rough for me. Portland tends to be very gray and rainy over the winter, and that impacts my mood / depression. So anyway, one day I decided I wanted to give it a shot, and I had some hair gel lying around, which I'd played around with a couple times, but I never really managed to figure out how to use it correctly. But I'd found a girl on YouTube, I think, I know her name's Courtney, I think it's like Swavy Curly Courtney or something like that. Anyway, it looked like she had a very similar hair type to mine. The very thin, does not hold a curl well. Like even when I tried to heat style my hair curling, it didn't really hold, even if I put a ton of like hairspray in it. I'd have to put like a lot of hairspray in it to get it to hold at all. So anyway, I decided to try it again. And at the time, if you guys remember, before I did my hair like last week, there was a lot of blonde in my hair. And so back then my roots were probably down to here-ish. So like everything down here was like quite fried, quite honestly. But between using the gel as well as trying like a diffusing method called pixie diffusing, I actually managed to get my hair like actually pretty big and got some nice waves. But the cool thing that ended up being really a benefit for me during that hard portion of my life, or, you know, of the year, whatever. And the reason why I brought that up specifically, by the way, I am going to end the poll. Actually, no, we only have 2 votes for should we continue designing these full boxes in another stream, and it's 50-50, and looks like we have 4 people watching. So if you have not voted in the poll, please do so. Break the tie. Anyway, what ended up being a benefit is if you've never experienced depression and ADHD, at the time I'd been diagnosed with ADHD for about a year, things like showering can be very hard. And I mean, a lot of us went through that during the pandemic, even if you don't typically deal with those mental health issues. And so for me, being able to shower without having to wash my hair significantly makes it easier because it's a lot less that I have to do, right? So when my hair was wavy after styling it wavy that one time, I literally wore it up for so long, and somehow my hair like was not getting nearly as greasy. I put a little bit of dry shampoo in it, but it wasn't too bad even though. And so I just like washed my body, and I could like leave my hair alone, and because it had a little bit of curl at the end, I could put it in like a bun or a ponytail, and I'd get the ends and they'd poke out and they'd look cute, right? And so I'm like, okay, this takes a long time to do. Like it takes me, my hair takes forever to dry, this way. It takes me like 45 minutes to an hour after I shower to style my hair wavy, but it lasts significantly longer, and there are so many other things that make dealing with my hair easier, and I don't have to wash it off as often. Blech. I do not have to wash it as often. So I started doing this most of the time. I don't know if you, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think I managed to get my hair to wave up a little bit for the stream itself. But it was like looking weird, at least to me. Maybe no one else noticed, but it was because I was trying to get it to wave without putting any product in it. And I can get it to wave without the product, but then it falls real fast. So I would like redo it right before the stream to try to get it to look nice. And I did just end the poll, by the way. I decided the poll is done. We're at 50-50. Okay, I'll just figure out what I want to do on Thursday. Anyway, but I wasn't putting any product in it in preparation for redoing my crazy root situation that was like down to here. So you guys can probably tell that my hair is darker than it was. And I told you a little bit about this last week, I think. And it actually I just managed to get it sorted on Saturday, I think. So this whole thing took like almost a week for my hair, which is not uncommon because while I've done a fair amount of research on how to do my own hair, I'm very much not a professional. So I'm basically mad scientisting my way to a decent result. And part of what I enjoy is the process. It is a money thing, but it's also a like kind of fun thing if I'm in the right mood. So anyway, the thing I was dealing with my hair, and you can't see it as much when it's back like this, and I did that mostly just so it would stay out of my face, but, oh, I had a bobby pin there. Keep my bangs back. So you can't really tell when it's waved, but, so from like here, at least down, was very light blonde, and then like here up was very dark roots, right? If you remember. So I'm trying to switch to I am switching to a high lift blonde dye instead of bleach because it's a way of lightening your hair that's better for your hair. But you can't get it as light. And then, so a combination between that not being as light and waiting so long, it was, even though there were some highlights up here, it was like very much a night and day situation. Plus when I was trying to do like a shadow root situation where I have like a little bit of darker dye at my roots so that it blends when it grows out, I didn't get the right color for that, and it wasn't blending. So anyway, what I ended up doing between Monday last week, I think that's where I was Monday. And again, I knew I had more processes with my hair, so I didn't want to put product in it and wave it up. So I was like wearing it straight as a result, because that's effectively what happens when I just do a quick dry to my hair. So I ended up getting more dye a couple times. So I ended up going back through and trying to highlight again. And it was better, but it was not great. So what I ended up having to do is low lighting the bottom of my hair. So basically, for anybody who doesn't know, that's basically putting in darker bits. And I actually did quite drastic low lights because I do have very dark roots, and I didn't want to do like just blonde to my root, because again, I want it to grow out nicely so that I don't have to redo it as much. So anyway, I did that. I did the low lights. Okay, so I did the second round of highlights, and that was better, but it still needed something. So I did the low lights, and then during that process, I would have had enough time to do enough color to do the roots, but I mixed a batch of color for the low lights, and I had to toss it. So I had to go back and get another tube of color for the roots, and now the roots are a little bit warmer than I want them to be, but that's okay. I'm done right now. Next time I go to buy more color, I'll just make sure I get a slightly cooler color for the roots. It's not a big deal. Like, I'll use up what I have. And then I was debating doing like a slightly darker blonde gloss at the end, but once it's waved up, you can't really tell that the blonde at the end is significantly lighter than the blonde at the top. So I'm not really gonna know. I don't really care. Actually, now that I'm just like on screen and I'm not like looking down at my computer, because when I have my computer, when I'm usually working on it, it is not as high as it is right now. I have to prop it up to make my my line of sight better for filming purposes. So actually, my hair is not getting in the way as much, just these like little bangs. I'm growing out the bangs, by the way. They look real cute when my hair's not wavy. They look okay when it's wavy, but they get in the way. So I'm to the point finally where they're like, we're blending them in. I did get a haircut on Friday, because I'm like, oh, I might as well do it while I don't have product in my hair, because my stylist cuts my hair. I just do a normal like straight haircut, not a curly girl haircut, because I'm cheap and it works. Anyway, so usually I don't like to go get my haircut with a bunch of product in it, because it's like one of those like cheap salons. It's great clips. You have to like pay extra for a shampoo and stuff. And so anyway, if you have a bunch of product in your hair, I mean, once you wet it down, I don't know if it would be annoying for her, but I'm guessing it would be. So anyway, I just went and I got it done, even though it like didn't have to happen immediately. I knew it would in the next like month-ish. So just got it done. So now it's a little shorter than I wanted it to be curly, because I forgot how much it shrinks up, but you know what? I don't care. That is my like whole current hair journey, so I can go back to wearing it wavy. But yeah, back in the day, I wore my hair straight effectively because I didn't know better. That was a very long story as to what is currently going on with my hair. But when I do my own hair, because I am very much not a professional, and as I said, I'm mad scientisting my way to what I hope will be a good result, usually a lot more dye goes into my hair than it would actually be needed by someone who knew what they were doing, and it usually takes a while. Partially because I'm doing myself and I'm not experienced, so I don't go as fast as a professional, and partially because I have to like redo stuff. So is it as good for my hair as going to a professional? No. But I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. The way I see it is, do I want my hair to melt off my head physically? No. But while I'm trying to keep it from not being completely damaged, if it does get damaged, yeah, that sucks. It's hair. It's going to grow back. At least currently my hair is growing back. And as far as I know, I'm not in a place where I'm losing hair, knock on wood. So at this point, you know, I've done research to tell when I'm putting my hair through too much, so I can kind of keep an eye out for those signs, especially when I'm bleaching it. And whenever I get it cut, I ask the stylist, I'm like, okay, I know I'm not a professional. I know I do my hair at home. Be honest with me. How bad is it? And so I've been told that considering what I've done to my hair's in pretty good shape. So anyway, yeah. Ooh, so I'm finally looking at the comments here. Going back up with your comment, Samantha. I hope you're still here. I think you are, but still hoping. Let's see. Oh, that's so sweet. You know your opinion doesn't matter, but you love seeing people's real skin, natural hair, etc. You only use makeup as a mask of sorts. So I think you have a negative connotation. That's a very good point. There is that negative connotation. For me, I know this is going back a few topics, but I wish I could like change the topic now without like completely changing the title of the replay, because for the most of it we were designing, so I don't necessarily want to change it. But for anybody who is seeing that it's live, it would be handy. Anyway, I think makeup can be fun and self-expression, like a fun self-expressive thing. I don't think it's necessarily negative for everybody, but there are definitely societal pressures that often make makeup negative. So I think that even though in a lot of places, in a lot of settings, women wearing makeup is seen as kind of a necessity, and if you don't do it, like, you don't take care of yourself. I don't think that should be a thing at all. I think makeup should be like a fun way for people to enhance what they have. Or if you do have an insecurity, I mean, it can be something that everybody would see as something huge. Like if you have a lot of acne, like that's the other thing, is I used to get more acne than I do now. So I would be a little bit more into covering it up, whereas I get some, but it's like so much better than it was. So it's not necessarily something that I feel like I have to cover up in that sense. But yeah, I think people can have a healthy relationship with makeup. I think people can have an unhealthy relationship with makeup, but I think at least in the US, the way makeup is often seen as a form of, as a necessity. And if you don't wear makeup, you're not taking care of yourself. That I think is a negative. And I don't think that should be a thing. Obviously, if everything that was negative was not a thing, the world would be a very different place. But there you go. All I can speak to, however, besides, like, for sure, besides those, like, general opinions, which are very much generalizations, is my particular situation. There were definitely times where I was not wearing makeup on a daily basis, and I would put makeup on for videos. And after a while, it turned into a negative thing for me, because with, like, in hindsight, I know it was like the ADHD. It was like one more thing that I had to do. This is even before I was doing live streams. So I had to do the editing process, and I'm not a huge fan of editing. In fact, I don't like editing, except in like very specific situations where I'm like somehow in the mood for it. Anyway, so it was just like one more thing I had to do in order to film that I wasn't a huge fan of. I like the filming process. I like talking to people. That's why streaming works so well for me, because it's like the filming and the feedback and, like, you know, chatting with people all in one, versus when you have a pre-recorded video. They're definitely better for some things. I'm not gonna pretend they aren't. You know, that process just has less of what I like doing, and required more prep and whatnot. So yeah, after a while, I think it was last year, I decided that I wasn't going to do makeup if I didn't want to on YouTube, but that still was when I was pre-filming. And then this year, when I started doing the Erin Condren Life Planner release coverage, I decided to try streaming to see if my internet could handle it. And apart from that, like, disastrous time, what was it, last week? It feels like it was a long time ago. Apart from that, my internet mostly can. And so, yeah, this is just a lot more of what I enjoy and a lot less of the process that I don't. So, yeah, that, and I should also say when I started streaming, I did feel a lot more like not that I needed to wear makeup, but I wanted to wear makeup. I felt like I would be more confident wearing makeup. Honestly, now, like, if I have the stream all planned and thumbnail all done, which granted I often don't, but if I do, I can literally just, like, roll in, like, if I'm doing something else, like, as long as I get home 15 minutes before the stream starts, like, that'll give me enough time to start everything up. No biggie. Now it's a lot more casual. And it just, you know, it's something that I'm used to. So, yeah. Yay. You are right, Samantha, on the glasses, by the way. I know I'm like way up. They really do frame faces. I will say, I know the style for glasses is the plastic frames. I personally do not like how they look on me. But I wore metal frames specifically because they are more adjustable in, you know, the little nose things. And I have very long lashes. And so, I have to be able to adjust the glasses, otherwise my lashes will touch the glasses and I'll get grease smears. So it kind of works out because I prefer the way the metal frames work anyway. It's a little tricky to shop for glasses, but luckily I don't have to do that very often. I was also told once, I think I must have been like a teenager. It was a long time ago. But anyway, I was told once that when I wear glasses, I look like a movie star. So I think that also was like stuck in my brain a little bit. It's like, ooh, I look like a movie star when I wear glasses. No idea exactly how honest that friend was being. I don't remember what context it was in, if I was like fishing for compliments or whatever. I don't remember. But anyway, I like the way I look in glasses, and I often like to like lie around on the couch and stuff like that, so it really gets in the way when I'm not just like sitting up and doing normal things. I do have to wear them while I am playing video games if I'm playing them on the TV. I don't have to wear them if I'm playing in like handheld mode on my Switch, but if I'm playing on the TV, especially if I have to read anything, I have to wear them. Otherwise I get eye strain so fast. I also tried contacts for a little while, so I didn't have to deal with glasses. That was more when I was working in customer service, and like the glasses combined with the headset would hurt my head a lot. But the contacts didn't end up working out for a couple of different reasons. So now, Samantha, I'm at the ones where you're like up there where you're talking about your hair. So you have fine and barely wavy hair. Cut it into a textured bob so you could have waves with zero effort. I feel like when I cut my hair shorter, unfortunately my hair didn't do that, but it's also been several years since I've cut my hair shorter. Ever since basically college, I've had a rule that shoulder length is the shortest I'll go. Like shoulder length when straight, essentially. Now you have a few loose curls out of the shower with no product, just shampoo and conditioner. And it's too easy to just look like I tried. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I have to say, I am quite lucky in that my hair does air dry. If I just like go out of the, you know, straight out of the shower, usually I'll apply at least a little bit of argan oil, if not some like conditioner in it or something like that. But I'm very lucky that straight out of the shower, like just having brushed it, and like make sure I have the part in the right place, which takes me like 2 minutes, less than. My hair will air dry looking fairly good. And my top layers of hair, even though I don't have super porous hair, will dry enough so that even though my hair is not dry, it looks dry within an hour, which actually is quite nice. I've had that like kind of save my ass in a few situations where I either haven't wanted to or haven't had time to air dry my hair and, or to blow dry, I mean. And so because of the whole air dry thing, it doesn't look like I'm going somewhere with sopping wet hair. But if you like were to touch it, you're like, yeah, this is still wet. But it looks dry. When I have all the product in it, it takes forever to dry. It actually takes 5 ever to dry with all the product in it. So Yay! But yeah, as I said, I like the way it looks more. I have to wash it less. For some reason, my hair just gets less oily when it's wavy, which for some, like, at least to me, does not make any logical sense. Maybe someone who actually know how hair works could tell me more. But yeah, I don't have to wash it as much. Like, it just doesn't get as oily as fast. Before, I would just deal with being a grease ball because I was too lazy to wash my hair every other day, which is how often I have to wash my hair when I'm wearing it straight. But now I can get away with washing my hair once or twice a week is usually. I probably should wash it like every 4 or 5 days, but it's not uncommon for me to go like a week and a half. Often having to come on stream gives me the incentive I need to wash my hair, honestly. But I just worked out a system so I can wash it in the sink now. So if I want to wash my hair or need to wash my hair, but I don't have time for like a full-blown shower, sometimes that comes up, or I'm like, I just showered yesterday, I didn't wash my hair, now I want my hair washed. I can wash it in the sink pretty easily, so I don't have to like do the whole shower routine. I just have to worry about the hair, which is very nice. That's how I was washing out all the hair dye this time around. This is the first time I've done it that way, doing my hair. Oh man, it's so nice not to hop in the shower like 3 times while I'm dyeing my hair. It's nice on a hot day, but it's a pain in the ass, especially because I have like a specific t-shirt that I wear when dyeing my hair. And after I like get in the shower to wash out my hair, it feels gross to put like my dye shirt back on, even if there's like not a ton of stuff on it. It just feels nasty. So there are not very many things that I'm picky about when it comes to like being like super cleanly and stuff like that. That's one of them. Yeah. So let's see. Samantha, you're saying, let's see, for you actually styling your hair with gel and stuff I think I read this earlier, turned kind of toxic and compulsive as pretty as the waves were. Yeah, I could see that happening. I mean, that's not my personal experience, but I could see that happening. I'm also lazy, so I don't bother with it more than once, sometimes twice a week. Like, when I say twice a week, it's like, you know, I'll do it on Monday and then Saturday. So it's like almost a week apart, but technically it's twice in a week. Now, I will say after the first few days, I either have to like refresh it and like put water in it and re-up it, or I have to wear it up. But, you know, is what it is. Is what it is. So yeah. Let's see. Samantha, you're saying you really love lipstick. Got rid of 95% of your makeup, but you kept a few of those. I have never been a huge lipstick person. I have lipstick. I actually have I have a decent selection of lipstick. I don't typically wear it unless it's a nude. I think it's because I like to snack, and I probably I do touch my face a lot. You guys probably have noticed that. And I don't like having to deal with like making sure my lipstick stays nice. And I hate the feeling of long wearing lipstick. I think most people do. So for the most part, I just stick to chapstick or lip gloss. Mostly just chapstick. I've always liked focusing on my eyes as far as makeup goes more anyway, but it also could be because of the lipstick thing. So, who knows? Let's see, Samantha saying your frames are gold and you agree. You do want to get a super lightweight plastic pair with blue light blockers for the evening time, and the weight of the metal bugs you. Okay, I haven't installed it yet, but I actually found a blue light blocking screen protector for my phone. And if the picture in the comments is to be believed, and that person was actually using one of the blue light detecting cards, it looks like it works. I don't have one of those things, so I can't do the test myself. But I often use my phone without my glasses, so I figured that might be a good thing to do. And I should probably also invest in a blue light blocking screen protector for my Switch, because I've been playing a lot of Switch lately. I've not as much Animal Crossing as I was for a while, but a lot of Picross. Oh my goodness, such a fun puzzle game. If you're not familiar with Picross, it also goes by Nonogram. But yeah, so much fun, and I like the Switch version more than I like the phone versions. You can get it on the smartphone, but I think because I started playing on my 3DS, it's just like one of those things where I cannot get used to the phone versions. Like, it has slightly different features and slightly different things the way it works. I just prefer it on the Switch. So I've been playing a lot of that lately. And then like a little bit of Animal Crossing. Not a ton, but still a little. But yeah, that's what I'm planning on doing in the evening. I also, this isn't a blue light thing per se, but I have issues with insomnia. And I recently got a smart bulb, and I programmed it so that at different times of the day, it has a different color temperature, so that like during the day, it's just in my like bedside lamp, by the way. So far, I have a couple more bulbs. I want to put them in my bedroom, because at different times of the day, I want different color temperatures. But anyway, and then I also have it so that after, I think it's 10:30 p.m., it goes to red, because it's enough to like see to do basic things, but red light is the only color of light that does not mess up your dark vision or your night vision. Dark vision. We're not playing D&D. Anyway, it doesn't mess up your night vision. So if like you do get up in the middle of the night or something like that and like need to run to the bathroom, or like something does come up, I might not use it for kittens if I was bottle feeding, but for a lot of other things, if you don't need like very fine detail, but just need basic shapes, it's great, because yeah, you don't have the issue of like the bright light waking you up and shit like that. It's amazing. I love it. I've known the thing about red light for years, but I will do a red light bulb in my bedside lamp for as long as I possibly can, and at some point I do hope to find a partner and be living with them, and I will have to explain this whole thing to them, and hopefully they will be understanding and go along with me and discover the joys of red light bulbs as well. But I like the fact that it's one bulb and I can just switch it. So yeah. But anyway, the reason, I should say, like, it kind of comes back into it. The reason why I discovered the thing with like the red light bulb and thought to get it is that my light bulb in my bedside lamp died a few weeks ago. And so I had a bulb lying around, and I swapped it out, and it turned out the original one I had in my bedside lamp was like a very warm bulb, like a warm yellow. And the other one was a daylight bulb. And so it was making my insomnia worse. So I finally got warm bulbs, and then when Amazon had their Prime Day, I grabbed a pack of smart bulbs, because I'm like, I deal with insomnia. I think this will be great. And as I said, I want to put it in my overhead lamp in my bedroom, and I want to program it so that it like simulates a sunrise in the morning. So still trying to figure out exactly how to get it to do what I want. But that's more of a, I just need to figure out what, I don't think it's a limitation in what can be done. I just have to figure out how to get it to do exactly what I want. We'll see. I just have like standard like bulbs and switches, and well, not bulbs, but I just have standard switches. So that's also going to cause some issues, but that's okay. I'll figure it out. So Samantha, you're saying you have 20/20 vision, but you have to have prisms for your uneven eyes. Apparently it's super common condition with ADHDers. I have never heard of prisms. Huh. I wonder if that's part of what I have going on. I do know that one of my eyes has like a really weird prescription. And I do remember that from when I was trying to get contacts. And one, I think it was my right eye, and I'm mirrored. So of course, for you, I'm on the left. But for me, I'm pointing to my right eye. I think it's my right eye has a pretty normal prescription, but my left eye is like at like a weird angle. And it's like, I think they both have astigmatism. I forget. All I remember is they had to special order the contacts for my left eye. They didn't just carry them. Back then, though, oh man, when I had that corporate job, I will say there were definitely downsides for the insurance program, but my vision coverage was the best vision coverage the people at my optometrist office had ever seen. Well, okay, maybe not the best, but like up there. They're like, this is the biggest frame allowance we've ever seen. That my insurance paid for $300 in frames. So I could basically choose any frames I wanted. Without having to pay out of pocket for that. Unfortunately, it didn't pay for the anti-scratch and blue light blocking coatings, which I always get, but there you go. 𝗚𝗏𝑚𝑒n, you usually get 3 pairs. 1 bifocals to wear at work and outside with transitions, 1 pair for the PC, and other sunglasses, all prescriptions. It's money, but with your astigmatism needs, yeah. I am lucky in that I can see okay, like without my glasses. If I were to like take them on and off and like look at something that's not a screen, or even a screen for that matter, like I can tell a difference. But for some reason, I don't tend to get the eye strain as nearly as much, if at all, if I'm not looking at screens. Unfortunately, I look at a lot of screens. But I will also say that I've been told by optometrists for years that I should be wearing them full time, and I flat out refuse. They also tried to give me progression lenses this last time, and I'm like, nope, don't want them. So there's that too. I probably should get prescription sunglasses. I just have like normal ones. I just get cheap ones. I think my current ones that are in the car are from the Dollar Tree, and I usually don't get sunglasses there, but I found a pair that had, what was it, like the polarization, I think is what it's called. And I'm like, okay, well, you know what? If they work, I didn't have a better pair. I figure if I can get them cheap, why not? So far, they're working okay. Samantha, you're saying your long hair is so heavy, it took hours to dry, and the weight of any water would straighten out the waves. You cut your own bob, and it really manipulates how the waves sit. Yeah, it's crazy how much of a difference the weight of your hair can have. Yeah. Samantha, I know you're talking to 𝗚𝗏𝑚𝑒n about the qualities of a PC only pair, but what I can tell you is that there's a couple of different things. First off, when you are looking at a computer screen, you're looking at things fairly close, and your eyes will sometimes have different needs, whether you're looking close or far away. And I feel like I get mixed up sometimes. I am farsighted, which means my eyes are more optimized to look far away. And when I try to look at things close up, they overfocus very easily, which is why I get the eye strain when I'm looking at screens. It's not, I mean, I'm sure blue light is a little bit of what's going on, but a lot of it has to do with my eyes overfocusing, because the same thing happens when I'm reading a book, for instance. I don't read a lot of physical books. That's more of an ADHD thing. Prefer audiobooks, but the same thing happens when I'm reading a book or even doing other tasks where I'm looking close up. The other thing is that a lot of times, because you have different needs for different distances, a lot of times people will end up with progressive lenses where it has a different prescription in the top and the bottom, sometimes even the middle. But if you're just in front of a computer, you don't need that, because you're mostly just looking at the computer, and having the progression lenses can be very annoying because you have to look down for some things and up for other things. And so you can end up like, if there's something like straight in front of you that you have to look down the bottom of your glasses for, you can end up going like that. That's the experience my mom has had with progression lenses, and she says she's going to switch back to normal ones because they were bugging her so much. And then also on glasses you're going to use to go outside, you can have like a tint, an automatic tinting thing, so they automatically kind of turn into pseudo sunglasses. Usually they're not as much as tinted as like full-blown sunglasses. I don't get that personally because I just wear mine inside. I hope I'm not butchering this, 𝗚𝗏𝑚𝑒n. It sounds like you are a little bit more of the and I know you also commented. You probably know a little bit more about this, but anyway, that's my understanding of it. Let's see. Samantha, you're saying you use blue light blockers for all of your electronics, but you want something to filter the lights around your home. You have a red bulb in your bedside lamp. The cool thing about the smart bulb that I got is that you can also change the warmth, not just the color. So I really like that as well. So I will set it so that like in the evening I have very warm, but in the daytime I have daylight. And I actually don't even go as like harsh white as I can, because I mean, like the harsh whites tend to have more blue in them in a lot of cases. And then, as I said, I change it to red at night, and I have it, I'm still trying to figure out how to make it work, because apparently when I have the lamp switched off, it like doesn't change colors at like the specified time. So I'm trying to come up with a system so that I can like actually use the lamp switch without having to get a whole new lamp. But yeah, for me that helps a lot, as far as maybe not as much blue light, but just kind of helping with different like spectrums of light or whatever. I also, this wasn't specifically when I was getting this bulb, but when I was trying to get bulbs previously, the first time I went out to get warmer bulbs, because I already knew this thing. I mean, obviously we hear about blue light, but I already knew the thing about red light. I ran into a guy at Home Depot who says his daughter gets migraines and has like blue lights because of it. And I'm like, well, I don't know too much about migraines, but I do know that red light is the only type of light that doesn't mess up with your night vision. So I'm like, you know, if she needs to experiment with something, or, you know, it's not enough, told her, it's like, hey, see if the red lights make a difference, because they might. I mean, I never saw that guy again, so I don't know if it helped, but hopefully, whether or not the red lights helped, hopefully his daughter's migraines are better. Yes, sunrise alarms are so cool. Again, like, I'd be turning this into a sunrise alarm, but yeah. Also, I will say my ring light that, I mean, I have as my lighting right now is effectively a happy light. It is very expensive. I'm not gonna lie. Like, when I bought it, it was a few years ago. I think it was like 120, 150 bucks or something like that. But I keep it on even when I'm not filming or streaming, because I don't really film too much anymore. I keep it on even when I'm not streaming a lot of times during the day, especially on days like this where it's very hot and I have to have my curtains or my blinds closed, because I also, I think this is an ADHD thing, but at least it's me. I often feel very groggy during the day and then wide awake at night, so I have to be very diligent about the lights and how I use them and how I have them on and the light temperature, so that I'm hopefully giving my brain the right signals to not make my insomnia worse. And I also have sleep aids. I in case anybody's curious, I use, sometimes I use melatonin, but usually I will take cannabis gummies. I like the 2-to-1 CBD to THC, and cannabis is legal in Oregon, where I live. In case anybody's curious, it's not illegal here. In fact, the dispensary I go to is literally across the street from the DMV. So yeah. Acme, you're saying you tried contacts a long time ago, but when all you could get was the hard ones. So much easier to take the glasses off and clean them. Yeah. For me, I was able to get the soft contacts, but apparently I have like dry/sensitive eyes, and it made them even worse. I still actually have contacts. Like, they were the like 2-week contacts, and I still have a bunch of pairs, but I haven't used them. I probably should throw away my contact solution, because at this point that stuff's probably like 4+ years old, and I probably shouldn't keep it in case I or someone else accidentally thinks it's still good, because probably not. But yeah, and I should probably also check, there's probably an expiration date on the contacts. I should check that too. But yeah, I was like, well, insurance paid for them. I'll keep them around until I either use them, which probably will like never happen, or will happen super slowly, or they expire. Anyway. Samantha, you're saying you have severe eye phobia, so you wouldn't wear contacts. When people put them in, take them out, you have to turn around. That makes sense. I have to say, before I tried using contacts myself, I thought the idea of touching my eyeball was gross. And I was like, why would anyone do that? I actually got used to it. And so, I mean, now that I don't wear contacts, I don't like go touching my eyeball just because. But I will say, for me personally, I got to a point where, like, I didn't care. But it sounds like you had a much harder time. Like, not, I shouldn't say much harder time, but I was in a different starting position than you are now. So yeah. I will say that there were a couple of times where I was like at work, and like, you know, everyone's desks were around each other, and I'd be like, hey, I'm gonna take my contacts out, guys. I hope it doesn't gross you out. And I just remember one of my coworkers being like, I'm a mom, nothing grosses me out. I'm like, okay, cool. But like, I know for some people, like, taking contacts out would be weird. Yeah. Oh yeah, if you don't wear the Ackman saying you have the transition progression bifocals with no line, but you didn't have the separate frames, it would be easy to wear the wrong pair while driving. I cannot wear my glasses. Okay, I take that back. In most cases, I don't wear my glasses while driving. I cannot wear my glasses while parallel parking at all. If I'm wearing them on that day, occasionally I will have headachy days where I have to wear my glasses when I'm not at the computer. Unless I'm like in bed, eyes closed, sort of deal. I think they technically qualify as migraines, even when they aren't like as bad as people typically say when they're talking about migraines, because I did go to like a doctor about it years and years ago. They're like, yeah, that's actually a migraine. I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't think it was like always bad enough for that, but okay. But anyway, sometimes I do wear them around if I'm having a headachy day, and I can wear them while I'm driving, but I don't like it as much because I do use my peripheral vision, and because I can see generally okay, and like even when I have a headache, I can see fine. It's just that I have a headache. It's annoying to have to like turn my head, and yeah. Anyway, and then in college, there was like a 4-6 month period, something like that, when I first was told that I should be wearing glasses full time, that I was wearing them full time. And that's when I discovered that I could not parallel park with the glasses on. I was living on Greek Row at the time. And so it was all parallel parking. And literally when I went to park, I had to take off my glasses because, again, peripheral vision. And it was very distracting to have the break between when I was seeing through my glasses and when I was not seeing through my glasses. And I couldn't parallel park. But since with a computer, I'm mostly just looking ahead, or even if I'm looking at multiple screens, I'm like not looking too far away. It's fine. Same with like TVs and stuff like that. But when I'm watching movies, I often lie down on the couch, and so wearing the glasses is like hard to lie on them anyway. But if I'm playing video games on the couch and like looking like on the TV, then I do grab them. And then lately in the morning, I've been like drinking coffee outside if it's not too warm, and sometimes playing my Switch. And so often I'll bring my glasses out there if I'm like looking at the Switch. But a lot of times I don't bother when I'm just playing it in handheld mode. And as I said, I don't usually bother with if I'm just looking at my phone. So, yep. That is me and my weird thing about glasses and when I wear them, I guess. See, Samantha, you're saying before starting stimulants, you had to sleep 10 to 12 hours per night. Now you magically wake up after 7 hours. You used to be tired 24/7, 365. Because of that, you're not able to stay up late now. So for me, I am on stimulants for my ADHD. It sounds weird to say on a stream, but I feel like I've mentioned it before. I take Adderall. And I can still stay up late. I've still had a way messed up sleep schedule, but I will say that I have lately been having an issue where I wake up before I'm like fully rested, and then I have issues with being sleepy during the day. So I've had to kind of figure out what to do about that, because when I like just take a nap and like, oh, I'll wake up whenever, I end up sleeping like 6 hours, and then that messes up my sleep schedule even more. So yeah, I'm glad that the stimulants helped with your migraine, Samantha. Unfortunately, mine didn't. But it makes it so I can actually concentrate on shit. So, I mean, yeah. For me, I've had way more positives than the negatives, and luckily I have not gotten many, if any, like physical side effects. Most of the side effects I have to do with like them wearing off and forgetting to take my next dose, which if you're like is pretty good. And but I know they have like slow release ones. I'd prefer not to be on those, because I would occasionally I will, if I like get up late or if I forget to take them during like earlier in the day, I want to be able to take a dose at like 4 or 5 p.m. and not have that keep me up really late. So yeah, I am, even though I have to deal with remembering to take them and like, you know, take subsequent doses. I'm good at the first one. It's the other ones I'm not. But I'd rather have it this way than the slow release. I think ultimately it's more flexible for me. You're saying you have a legit phobia. You're fine with all sorts of gross stuff, but even thinking about an eye makes you dizzy and panicky. Okay, well, we will stop talking. Well, never mind. I don't want to. I will say that I completely understand about like having things like either phobias or just things that like you really don't like that like don't make logical sense. For example, love butterflies. I am like legit scared of moths though. I don't know what it is. Luckily, when there's not actually a moth around, I can like laugh about it. But if there's like an actual moth, like that's the one harmless bug that I'm like, nope. I know the thing is like this big and its wings are like tissue paper and it couldn't hurt me. I'm still scared of them. So, oh my goodness, my nose is so itchy. Sorry, guys. Yeah, Ackman, having to look through like different parts of your glasses to see different things. That's why I wouldn't let them give me progressives. They wanted to this last time, but I'm like, nope. I know that you want me to wear them all the time. Realistically, I'm not gonna. I'm only gonna wear them as reading glasses / in front of the computer. Therefore, give me standard, please. Luckily, they're also a little bit less expensive, and I currently do not have insurance that covers glasses, so I had to pay out of pocket. I was able to get them at Costco, which made them significantly cheaper, but at the same time, like I'll save money wherever I can. Okay, maybe not wherever I can, but you know. Samantha, you're saying your ADHD is really severe. I'm so sorry you're having to deal with that. I mean, I was unmedicated until, what would it be, February of 2021. And like looking back, there were so many things that I was dealing with that were ADHD that I either just thought was part of like normal life or was misdiagnosed as depression. Or looking back, should have been misdiagnosed as anxiety, but was actually diagnosed as depression. Anyway, and like thinking about how bad it was for me, like in hindsight, or even how difficult it is sometimes for me now, like, and then thinking like, oh, like, you know, when you're saying like, oh, yours is really bad, like, I'm so sorry you're having to go through that. I mean, I don't think my ADHD, I don't know how bad it is. I don't think it's really bad. Otherwise I would have been diagnosed sooner. It's obviously significant, but, I know how much I struggle with it. And so I'm sorry that you have it, you know, that you have to go through even more than I do, because what I have to go through is no walk in the park. But I will say that I like that I've created a community here where we can be open about struggles with ADHD. And I mean, that's a lot of what we talk about, but like hopefully other mental health things too as they come up, because that is the kind of community that I want to foster here. And I'm glad that I at least somewhat managed to do so. Yeah. Oh, Samantha, you're saying that before meds you had to be in bed by 8 because you were so tired. Now you have normalish energy levels, so you can actually stay up too late. So with me, I mentioned this. I have a tendency to be tired during the day and awake at night. So even with low energy levels, I could stay up too late, but it was more like part of it was because I would sleep during the day. I can still do that, but it's a lot easier. It's been a lot easier lately not to. And then I still have the issue where around 9:30, 10 p.m. I get my second wind. So I can be like dragging all evening, half asleep, like fighting not to let myself go to sleep. And then like 10-ish p.m., 9:30, 10-ish p.m. is like the deadline of like the earliest I can go to bed and actually sleep through the night. But that's right when I get my second wind. It's very frustrating, I will say. Been getting better. I will say that I've been staying up really late playing Pit Cross lately, so I'm going to have to put the parental controls back on my Switch. not, I know that I will be able to override them very easily, but more as like a timer to remind me, because I don't want to put a timer on my phone, because if I do manage to actually get to bed early, I don't want a sound going off. So anyway, you see, Samantha, you're saying that you still get migraines from too much socializing, excessive heat, letting eye strain go too long. Yeah, so for me, so I get this sensation that I usually categorize as overstimulation. For all I know, maybe it is a migraine, in which case, I don't know. Maybe I'd feel better about it. I don't know. But yeah, for me, it's like overstimulation. It happens like whenever I like work out, doing like anything more than taking a walk. But it also happens like on a lot of days, like just when there's like a lot going on. And I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, it does have a lot of like the general like migraine things where like I can't deal with sounds, lights get really obnoxious and stuff like that. So maybe those are migraines that I just get really easily. I don't know, but I usually categorize it more as like overstimulation. And I actually used to get it after streaming, not so much now. But it often happens. I'm also, I will say, a huge introvert. Believe it or not, I know I've been told I'm like either an extroverted introvert or a closet introvert, where I don't necessarily come off as an introvert in a lot of social settings, but I am. I'm a very big introvert, definitely need my time. So that, I always chalked some of it up just to that. So yeah. I should go watch more, oh my goodness. 𝗚𝗏𝘁, no, I'm not. I never watched the Mothman movie thing. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna watch anything to do with moths. Thank you very much. Samantha, you're saying you take 5 Vants, so only 1 per day, but I'm also one of those people that can easily take a nap after it's kicked in. I love a stimulant nap. I can actually usually, if I'm tired before I take my Adderall, like, because you know, like you probably know, people that aren't on stimulants probably don't know, but when the stimulant is wearing off, often you get very tired. Once it's like at the tail end of working / worn off. So when you have multiple doses, the key is to like try to take the next dose before you get really tired. So specifically, if I'm tired, either because it's like first thing in the morning or because I let it go a little bit too long, usually if I like catch it, usually in that like first 40 minutes after I take it, usually I can sleep like a baby and I like never even feel the stimulants. But I mean, like, the same thing goes for coffee. And they actually say the most effective way to drink coffee is to drink a cup of coffee and then take like a 20 to 40 minute maximum nap, because that is when the coffee starts to kick in. So you're getting a little bit of the nap, like, you know, you're taking a nap, so you get the benefits from the nap, but then the coffee helps wake you up from the nap and gives you that stimulant to kind of kickstart you and get you going after the nap. That's what they say. Yeah. Oh, I'm okay. I knew that other people dealt with second winds, but I did know that the delayed sleep phase syndrome thing is very common in ADHDers. I didn't know the second wind specifically was part of it. I also, the last I heard about it, which granted was quite a while ago, the last time I tried to research this, but I heard that there wasn't a lot of research on it, that sleep issues actually used to be part of the ADHD diagnosis, like we're talking like 20, 30 years ago, but they couldn't figure out why, so they took it out. So hopefully more research is done. Also, hopefully more research is done on everybody who has ADHD and not just like your standard male. I am personally not a male, and since ADHD can present differently in women, it would be nice to have more research on how it presents in people with my chromosomes. That's just, you know, personal thing. But that has to do with a lot of research anyway. A lot of it's done on men and not women. But anyway, I mean, a lot of people talk about the second wind thing. I think, not everybody, I think a lot of people get the second wind, but yeah, delayed sleep phase syndrome is very common for people with ADHD, which is what I was saying. And historically, there actually was an evolutionary advantage, both to having ADHD and to having the delayed sleep syndrome thing, you know, basically staying, you know, being a night owl, staying up all night, whatever. Those people that naturally did stay up all night, like I have to work actively to not go nocturnal because I don't like, for a bunch of different reasons, not only just because things aren't open. I do not like being nocturnal overall. Like short term, fine, long term, no. Anyway, those are the people that would take the night watch. And then people with ADHD who were easily distracted were the people that, like, if there was an animal, you know, approaching in the bushes that was being real quiet, those are the people that might notice it. You know, back when animals, you know, were a huge threat to a lot of people. So like that, like back in the day, it was a benefit actually. And in some ways, like you might be more likely to survive an animal attack if you had ADHD than if you didn't. It's just in today's day and age, it is not really an advantage in most situations unless you know how to handle it. And even then, it can be really frustrating a lot of times. Yes, emotional dysregulation is another thing. I'm glad it is going to get added to the next DSM. I actually have a video on my channel from a few years ago talking about how I'm a crybaby. Basically, I tend to cry when I'm frustrated, not usually when I'm sad. And it has presented itself in many a very awkward situation, especially in the professional working environment. So anyway, I was kind of talking about that. And at the time, I didn't, maybe there was research, but I didn't find it. Maybe I didn't do enough research. I forget how much research I did for that video. But yeah, it is very frustrating, but it was also very indicating, like it was very affirming, I guess, to realize that this was not like, this wasn't just a skill I somehow didn't develop as a child. Like this is part of ADHD and it's literally how my brain is wired. I'm like, okay, still very awkward in some situations and probably will not get me out of those situations or make me look better in a professional setting, but at least I know it is not a moral failing. It is how my brain works. I'm also getting a lot better at noticing when I am starting to get into those states of emotional dysregulation, or I'm starting to, like when I'm starting to get into those emotional states, and while I still have enough control over it, either like back off from things or like set boundaries or like look at what actually has to get done and what doesn't, and like kind of inch my way, if possible, away from it, or even if I can't, at least strip away everything that I don't need to do. For instance, even earlier today, I was texting my mom. You know, there was some things that we had to talk about, and then we were just kind of talking about stuff a little bit, and I found myself getting really annoyed, and I could like feel myself kind of like realizing that like we were not, like if I continued this conversation, and it wasn't anything that was actually sensitive, but I did have a bunch of stuff on my to-do list today. So it was one of those things that's like, oh, I was able to notice that like this conversation specifically, like if I got that off my plate, then the rest of the things on my to-do list would suddenly seem so much more doable and attainable. And I know that sounds really weird, and I did explain that to my mom. And luckily she understood. And I'm like, I'm not saying don't text me if something comes up. I'm just saying I don't have the bandwidth to have, like, to chat generally right now and get everything done. So I feel very proud of myself for kind of recognizing that. But I don't always, or sometimes I'm in a situation where even if I recognize it, there's nothing I can do about it because stuff has to get done and there's a deadline and shit like that. And because I have ADHD, I have a tendency to leave things to the last minute. So yeah, getting into those situations does happen quite a bit. But I feel happy that I'm getting better at recognizing them. Yay. I feel like at least happy crying, like, I understand people like giving you weird looks or whatever, but I've heard of people happy crying. I don't really hear about people frustrated crying, I guess. And it's so weird because, like, it could be frustrated about something that, like, makes no sense to cry about, but it's because I'm very frustrated about whatever it is that I'm crying, not, it doesn't have to do with, like, the weight of the actual thing or how important it is, if that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I know you're agreeing with me saying that getting diagnosed made you feel a lot better and it helped you learn how to work around a lot of your troubles. Yeah. I mean, it took me about 6 months to get first the referral and then find a place that I could get diagnosed, between a lot of places being booked up and then other places not taking my insurance. It was really hard. And it took me 4 months to get into my primary to get the referral. Now, I will say not all of it was scheduling. I think part of that, she was out of maternity leave, so I probably could have gone to someone else. But at the time, I didn't think about that. But yeah, and it was one of those things. It's so funny because I had been watching a channel on YouTube, How to ADHD. If you haven't heard of it, go watch it. It's amazing. I mean, it's huge, so chances are you've heard of it. But if you haven't, check it out. Anyway, I was actually I have my undergrad degree in psychology. So I've been watching How to ADHD for years thinking, oh, I have depression, like some of these skills like work as well. And plus this is really interesting. And it was one of those things where, like, psych students have a tendency to, like, self-diagnose themselves with a whole bunch of things, and probably happens with med students too. But, you know, for the longest time, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Maybe I have ADHD. Oh, that makes sense. Oh no, like, psych students tend to self-diagnose with a lot of stuff they don't have. Like, stop being extreme, TAP. You know, that's what I'm going on in my brain. And then finally I actually sat down and I'm like, okay, this is making so much sense over such a long period of time. And so then I started actually making a list of the reasons why I thought I might have ADHD. And this was a few months into the pandemic, which I know when a lot of people ended up having mental health issues come to head, which also made it harder for me to get in, because, you know, not only was the system overrun, but there was a pandemic that was still going on. Like, there wasn't a vaccine yet, like all that good stuff. So anyway, finally, when I sat down and I made a list, I realized I had a really long list. And when I actually ended up going to get, like, my actual ADHD evaluation, the funny thing is I made this list for my PCP and I didn't have to go through much of it. And she's like, yeah, sounds like you have ADHD. I'll put the referral in. Great. And so it took me several calls and several days and a lot of tears to figure out how I could, like, actually go and get the diagnosis. And then I forgot to prepare. So I was literally, like, going back through my notes. I use OneNote as, like, my digital note-taking thing. If you're not familiar with it, it's like Evernote. I think Evernote's more popular, but I just use OneNote. It's Microsoft's version. It is free, by the way. You don't have to pay for Office 365. But I also know a lot of people like Evernote, and a lot of it's very similar. So anyway, I was, like, going back through that, and I'm like, I really hope my notes are here. And so I'm like, yes, I was able to find my notes. And so I start going through that, and the guy's like, hold on. And, like, because you're like, he didn't say it like that. He's like, hold on, you're going too fast. I literally had not even reached me being 7 years old yet in this, like, huge long list of different instances in my life and things that my mom had told me about how I was when I was little. And I think I got to about 10 years old in that when he's like, yeah, you have ADHD, you definitely do. So yes, it felt very validating. That's what it is, validating, not vindicated, validating. Yes, yay. Samantha, you're saying you've recently been practicing mental health skills and it's hard, but it really has slowly improved. For me, and this is a lot This happens a lot in relationships to my business. I'm trying to think of any other places that it does. But the biggest thing that I have managed to do and like notice in myself is when I start over analyzing things. And as I said, this happens a lot like when I'm doing Etsy stuff in my business, designing stickers, all that good stuff. There's a lot of stuff you can overanalyze. But it happens other places too. And it took me a long time. Actually, I was working on this with my Etsy coach, specifically, but as I said, I've used this in a lot of other places in life as well. I have learned to recognize when I'm overanalyzing things, and a lot of times I can step away from it. And sometimes I can be like, I feel like I'm overanalyzing this, but I also feel like the questions I'm asking that also sometimes feel like overanalyzing are important. So sometimes I will then go to a third party if I'm like not in a place where I feel comfortable removing myself, either for time or logistical reasons. I will go to a third party and be like, I'm not sure if I'm overanalyzing this or not. And I will go, I'll like go through the situation. And a lot of times now when I go to that person, they're like, they tell me like, no, you're not overanalyzing this. Like this just is a complicated situation. But yeah, a lot of times when I can feel myself overanalyzing stuff, especially like, you know, stuff that doesn't really matter, or I'm like putting a lot more weight on it than it needs to, like finding the right decision. When I can, I will just step away from it. Sometimes, I mean, when it's business stuff, if it's not time sensitive, I'll just come back to it the next day or, you know, a couple days later or whatever. Because coming back to it with a more clear head, a lot of times makes it a lot more simpler, or at least gives me more clarity. And a lot of times things that I thought I had to sort out that were issues really aren't, which is very cool. But that took me a long time. And it has also allowed me to recognize when other people are doing it sometimes in my life. Not always, but sometimes. I'm not always best at communicating that in a way that makes them receptive to the information, but you know, it's one of those things where it's easier to recognize when it's not you. So yeah. I do want to read at least a few more of your comments, but I also have to go in a couple. Just to let you know, probably, I don't know. I have to run over to my brother's place and water his plants tonight. So yeah. To be happy, excited, I mean a song I like came on, flowers outside, smell. Okay, so yeah, when I was thinking of like people cry when they're happy, I was thinking more like weddings, like really excited sort of things. Not necessarily, not that those things are little, but not as many everyday occurrences, I guess. Oh, you brought a paper copy of Cabaret Systems, like 6 pages long. Yeah, when you got diagnosed. I will say, because I was diagnosed during the pandemic, for me it was a video call. And I know that in some ways that actually isn't as good. And you might think, well, why is that? And that's because body language can actually, I'm trying to explain this. You probably know this, Samantha, but other people might not. Body language actually is important because something like tapping your foot or jiggling your leg or like tapping your fingers or something like that, that actually those are symptoms of ADHD. Those are hyperactive symptoms that, you know, as an adult, we learn oftentimes not to run around, like to stay in the seat. But if you're feeling restless, that can be a symptom of ADHD. And so those sorts of things can, and like your body language and stuff like that can actually be part of the diagnosis or diagnoses process. So being on a video call when you're only getting to see someone from this up, like you can't see their hands on the desk, you can't see their feet, their legs, they're like how they're holding their body and things like that. So for me, because I knew that going into it, like I had this whole long list, but if I like noticed myself tapping my fingers or clicking a pen or something like that, I would tell the person. It's like, hey, I know I'm cutting in, but like, since I know you don't have as much information as you would for an in-person evaluation, let me just, let me tell you this, information that might be helpful if we were in person. And luckily I had figured out by then that those were ADHD symptoms, so I was able to communicate that with him. I was also the person that was, even since I was a teenager, constantly asked to like stop shaking my leg. And it got to the point that I'd like shake my leg so much during class and had been asked not to so many times because I was like shaking the table that I would intentionally, when I noticed myself shaking my leg, like not rest my hands on the table so that I could continue shaking my leg without bugging anybody. So yeah. Samantha saying catching the overthinking, cutting it off is hard, but when you can succeed, it's amazing. Unfortunately, I overanalyze everything all day long. For me, to start it off, it took a third party telling me first off that I was overanalyzing things, but then kind of helping me with that. And then over time, I was able to do it myself. So as I said, it took a long time. It was also a process, and I had help from a third party. I won't say that I've ever really overanalyzed everything all day long, but a few years ago, I ran into a saying, and I forget what the actual saying is in Japanese because it is a Japanese saying, but it's fairly common. It essentially translates to "it can't be helped," or the best actual English translation that like I feel like gets the sentiment across is "it is what it is." Can't do anything about it now, so might as well accept it, sort of deal. So when I first heard about this, first off, I'm interested in Japanese culture, which is how I heard about it, and probably why it stuck in my head. But I started after I forget what happened, but I started kind of using it almost as my mantra. When things that were kind of like a bummer came up or weren't working quite right, like, well, it is what it is. A lot of it was like, kind of things at work that like previously was like, oh, damn it, this is annoying. Was like, well, it is what it is. Can't do anything about it now. And I will say that overall, once I started kind of incorporating that into my life, overall my life improved. And I think while that itself is not overanalyzing things, taking the pressure off of all of these little things that were happening in my life that I couldn't change, I think was also, in hindsight, a good starting point for finding out or for figuring out how to disrupt that overthinking cycle, I guess. And sometimes I still do get into that overthinking cycle, but luckily for me, it is not very uncommon when I start overthinking things to also get a headache. So while I don't necessarily think, oh, I have a headache, am I overthinking something? It's one of those kind of like triggers to myself with like, when I do get a headache, like I think like, okay, what I'm doing right now that's effectively causing this headache, how important is it? And so because I do also have that physical symptom that I'm trying to get away from, it also helps. I get headaches for other reasons too, but yeah, it helps. I also get headaches when I'm doing logic puzzles or other things like that, and I love logic puzzles. So those headaches I tend to try to push through for a while, and then I don't, and then it's really bad. And that's why I don't do like their traditional logic puzzles anymore. I do more like pick cross and things like that. Would like to get back into the actual logic puzzles, but for some reason I always get a headache when I do them. I don't know. Ooh, I like that. Talking out loud helps since it externalizes the thought process. Okay, so my dad tells me a story. He was an engineer, and so when he was in engineering school, they would be working on their own programs, and when something went wrong, they had someone in the classroom, like the instructor or TA or whatever, who they could go to and get help. But what he told me is that usually by the time you got to the end of explaining what your problem was, you figured out what the solution was. And so when you saying that, talking out loud sometimes helps. That's what it made me think of. Or sometimes just like explaining what the issue is to someone else, like in my life, like this is why I'm upset. I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't a big deal. Or sometimes I'm like, look, I understand why that this doesn't sound like a big deal, but it is a big deal to me. And sometimes I remember, what was it? It was when I was trying to figure out how to do laminated stickers. I mean, the one that I have, this is the one that I just happen to have on my desk, like, you know, this sort of thing. A lot of people call them die cut stickers. As I said, mine aren't technically die cut, so I don't like to call them that. But, I mean, a lot of times sticker sellers will do them not laminated and they'll just sell them as like die cut stickers. For me, I do laminate them so they're water resistant. So anyway, there were a lot of logistical challenges that I had to go through to get them to work. Like, I'd wanted to do like 2 and 3 inch stickers for a while. And so during that process, when I'm trying to like work out all of these logistics, and for a while I wasn't sure if I was going to laminate them and like all this sort of thing. But I, like it had, like my head was hurting every time I tried to think about it. So finally I went to my Etsy coach and I'm like, look, I feel like this is, I feel like I often do when I'm overthinking things, but at the same time, based on the research I've done, like this was like a product research sort of thing. I'm like, I feel like this is important, but I also feel like I'm overthinking it. So anyway, in that case, he's like, you're not overthinking it. It's funny though, because like 2 months earlier, he told me I was overthinking it, but the things that he told me I was overthinking kept coming back. And so when I ended up doing my product research and coming back to him and like, look, I know I've talked to about this before, but I've done more research and like, I can't get this out of my head. He's like, oh, well, now that you have this additional information, I think the issue was like, should I laminate them or not? I think was what it was. And I was like, wasn't quite sure. And at first he's like, no, don't laminate them. And then when I did research on like the, you know, the bigger stickers, like basically stickers that aren't specifically planner stickers, I found that I think it was like the first 2 or 3 search result pages on Etsy, all of them were laminated, whether they specifically advertised it as like part of the like list, like in the title or not, like if you go into the description. So I'm like, look, I can't get this out of my head. And that's when he's like, no, you're not overthinking it. So sometimes initially you think you're overthinking something and you're not, but usually when I think I'm overthinking something, I am. And usually it's either a lot simpler or a lot less important. And I will say there are a lot of things in life that I think are important in the moment and don't end up having much of an impact on anything. And learning that lesson has been a long one. Leah, okay, weird. Yes, you definitely came back at a weird time. Oh, your stream was weird. Okay. Yeah. Oh, so Samantha, do I have a specific app for or book for logic puzzles? No. I think last time I did logic puzzles, I just like Googled logic puzzles and I found a website that let you print them out for free. And then I did like one and I had a really blaring headache and I didn't do it anymore. I tried doing them on my phone for a little while and I think it was called like Mr. Logic or something like that. And I didn't really like the phone platform of doing them. I liked the pen and paper. I don't know. Well, pencil and paper, because I definitely mess up sometimes and I want to be able to erase it and start again. So back in the day, I found a logic puzzle book. I think it was just like original logic problems. It was like a magazine sort of publication. I'm Googling it. I think it was from Penny Press because I see a book that looks very similar to the ones that I would get. And it was, the kind of thing that, think of those Sudoku books that you get, but it was like, it was bigger and for logic problems. But I could only find them at Fred Meyer's, which is my local Kroger store. For some reason, I can't find them anywhere else. I wish they had them at the Dollar Tree. Oh, man. But no, they do not. But yeah, last time I wanted paper logic puzzles, I just Googled it. And I forget what website it ended up on. Leah, you didn't even realize I was still streaming. I intend to stop streaming in a couple minutes. I meant to stop like 7 minutes ago. And then, you know me, I talk forever. So I'm cutting myself off in 3 minutes, just so you're aware. Let's see, super random, but an ADHD woman runs a company called 𝗵𝗵𝗫𝗓 that has a lot of great products. I will have to check that out. Like lots of laminated pages and other neat items. Ooh, very cool. Her branding also, like, I was gonna be like, I don't know like how much of this is planners, but it feels very planner-y, just her logo. Very cool. So she has disc-bound planners, notepads, merch, stickers, 𝗫𝗫 subscription box. I love that title. Digital planners and printables, crafts, cups and mugs, goal charts. Very cool. I'll have to check that out. I do eventually want to expand my offerings to include digital stuff, but I have so much stuff that I have ideas for just in the planner sticker category that for one reason or another isn't up, that I should really get on that first before I expand too much. I think printables is the next expansion, and I'm not sure if it's going to go in my current Etsy shop or in a different one. And then I also need to completely revamp my sticker subscription. Not like revamp it, but I have to revamp my listings because they are basically broken. So I'm not getting any new subscribers. And so like my subscriber numbers are slowly going down because no one's subscribing because it's very hard to find me, and it's this whole thing. And I'm at fault. It's this whole thing. I'm at fault. Yeah, but I've decided it's not very high up on the priority list currently. Yeah. Let's see, I've only really done logic puzzles that I included in the answer to video games. I mean, that makes sense. But yeah, just, I mean, if I'm Googling logic puzzles, I mean, there's a bunch of them that are coming up. I feel like I ran into a few of them that were paid, but like had a couple of free ones. But yeah, there's a whole bunch that are coming up on Google. And a lot of them have online, like you can do them online, you don't have to print them out. I probably will print them out at some point, but again, roaring headache every time I try, so who knows how well that's gonna go. Samantha, I feel like being self-employed can be really great for people with ADHD, but it's very also hard to have discipline. And that's something I still struggle with a lot, especially when I have business tasks that I do not want to do. Because the ADHD, of course, makes it harder for me to force myself to do things that I don't want than like the average person would. I will say that lately I have been doing a little bit of a work trade with Leah. I hope you don't mind me calling you out. And that has been helping me a lot because basically because I also do Etsy coaching. I've been coaching her in exchange for her doing some stuff for me, and happily some of the stuff that I need done for me is stuff in Photoshop, which is a program that she wanted to learn a little bit. So it's like actually worked out very nicely, and we're like, this is actually kind of like the way an unpaid internship is supposed to work, where like I'm getting something out of it, but you're also getting something out of the work you're doing for me. You're not just getting my coffee. So yeah. So that's been helping me a lot. But what I will also say is that it has not been a walk in the park, and I always feel really awkward bringing this up on stream because I'm like not trying to hide it per se, but I also don't want to come here and like beg you guys for money. But like I will not pretend like I'm rolling in the dough. But even with money being a little bit tight, I still prefer being self-employed and having the flexibility of being self-employed than making more money and having to go to a job where if I have a bad brain day, I have to power through it. Whereas here, like the way I basically worked it is I work at least a little bit every day, and some days I work 10 or 12 hours, and some days I work 3 hours. Some days are like really bad days and I only work 20 minutes. And some days I do 12-hour days. But I also overall enjoy what I do. So I'm often, even when I'm not working, thinking about stuff and like planning and stuff like that kind of casually. And so I don't know how I really add that stuff up because it's like, oh, I'm driving in the car or whatever, I'm doing that. But yeah. Well, Samantha, I mean, I don't want to push you into anything specifically. If you are interested in starting the kind of business where you're selling stuff on Etsy and you are interested in coaching, I do coaching. I've been told that my rates are reasonable, so feel free to reach out, 𝗬𝗲𝗠𝗠𝗠@gmail.com. I will also say that I have helped people kind of figure out where they want to expand their business outside of their Etsy shop. And sometimes that has to do with selling products. Sometimes that has to do with other stuff. I won't say I have a ton of experience being a general business coach, but what I will say is that when I'm coaching Etsy clients, I don't necessarily say like, well, that's not directly related to Etsy, so I'm not going to talk about it. Like I try to be as helpful. So if you feel like, you know, a session, you know, with somebody who is an Etsy coach, maybe determining if selling on Etsy is the right thing for you, or at least asking you some questions that might help you find the right thing that's right for you would be helpful, feel free to reach out to me, 𝗬𝗲𝗠𝗠𝗠𝗠@gmail.com. Absolutely no pressure. I'm just letting you know that I'm willing to do that if that's something you're interested in. But yeah, no pressure, like will not think worse of you, anything like that. But I do offer that. If like, as I said, specifically Etsy coaching, but I also don't specifically draw the line at Etsy. But yeah, if selling on Etsy is something that you've been thinking about, you know, a conversation we might be able to have to at least determine if that's something worth pursuing. Oh, okay. I didn't see this last thing. You should say that you were a personal trainer and also coached people online. Oh, okay. Oh, and you even said when you did online coaching, you were super disciplined. Oh, okay. When you said you did online coaching, I didn't realize that you were the coach. I'm just overwhelmed with what business you would want to start and the starting process. Okay. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, if you think I can help, I've told you my wheelhouse and what kind of coaching I do, and you know, what I can help you with if I'm not the right person to help you, or if you can't afford someone or whatever. If you don't want someone to talk to about it, that's fine too. As I said, absolutely no pressure. Just throwing it out there as an option if you think it would help. So actually I will say, okay, it's 5 after. I know I said I was going to cut myself off at the hour. I will say really fast, I'm in the very early stages of perhaps putting together some sort of course on starting specifically a sticker shop on Etsy, but a lot of what I would have to say would also be general to Etsy. I just also have specialized sticker knowledge, even though a lot of the people I've coached have not been selling stickers. But I have a lot of that specialized knowledge that doesn't necessarily generalize well, I guess, like specifics. Anyway, I was thinking at some point of doing a live stream essentially as like a test run of like how it would go, what kind of content it would be, and basically getting your feedback. Like, was it helpful? Anyway, I haven't figured out exactly what that's going to look like yet at all. Well, maybe not at all, a little bit. I have maybe 1% done, if that. But I will also mention that I probably will start with people that already know that they want to start a shop on Etsy, specifically a sticker shop. But, you know, if that's something you're interested in, at least in hearing what I have to say, you know, keep an eye out. That is also probably several months down the line. So do not expect it next month or even the month after by any means whatsoever. But I just thought I'd throw it out there. Also, because I have ADHD, know that sometimes I don't always follow up on stuff. You know, I sometimes get super excited and then completely lose interest. But right now I'm pretty excited about it, so we'll see. And no worries about the chat being more delayed than normal. It's so funny because I have it set at low latency, but obviously I'm not gonna like say like, oh, you're lying about it being more delayed than normal. I do have to go though. So I am actually going to, since I'm at the end of the comments, I'm going to take this as the, as my cue to leave. So thank you for everybody who is live for being here. If you happen to make it to the end watching the replay, you're awesome. Thank you to the replay crew. As always, well, not as always, I stream on Mondays and Thursdays. So since this is streaming on a Monday, if you want to join me on Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific, feel free to. We talk about planners or things that are planner adjacent, and a lot of times we end up talking a lot about ADHD and other random things because we embrace the tangent and also very encompassing, and we accept people, neurodiversity and all that good stuff. Anyway, thank you again for watching. I'm getting better on my outros. See you next time. Bye.